Kanna, hi. Happy International Book Day! Yeah! You know, I hope you're looking away from VTubers today. At least for like 15 minutes to read something. Doesn't have to be a physical book, but you know, read a newspaper, read a manga, read a book, read something today. Well, my stuff, I thank you. Hi for jumping in. Look away from Kanna Blasphemy. I mean, we'll be talking about books today. I have my lovely PowerPoint ready in the background here. Look how ready I am. And starting stream on time. You're reading chat? Wow. You're already reading documentation all day. That doesn't sound like recreational reading, though. That sounds like suffering reading. You read an actual book today? Nice! Does reading chat count? Does the Grisaya visual novel... Oh, I would say visual novel counts, because you do have to do a ton of reading in those. Also, Invincible! Mwah, welcome back to the Kamo Squad. Welcome. Reading the newspaper is just speedrunning sadness at this point? I mean, it probably depends on which newspaper and which news you're reading, but... You read some tooltips of an in-game character, does that count? I mean, where you're reading it for recreation and for the joy of reading. If you're reading it for the joy of reading today, I would say it counts. Looking forward to my book reports. I don't know how much they will be book reports and how much they will be like me going like, this book good, for reasons that I will list. You'll reread your full Trigon collection later. Trust. You're planning on relaxing with more Shadows of the Apt after work. Ah, nice. Is there a newspaper about VTubers? I know there's some like VTuber magazines, so there's that. You hear many strong opinions on shipping today? Not really. Like today we're talking about like actual fantasy sci-fi books. Also, do let me know if my BGM is too quiet or too loud or anything like that. I figured since we're doing a book PowerPoint today, since I'm talking about book, we should have a little bit of, like, not classical piano piece, but piano music. And have this background that has a lot of books in it. Yeah. You finished Shadows of the Apt a couple of weeks ago. It was incredible. Yeah, Shadows of the Apt is so good. It will be on the list today. We'll see. What's my thoughts on the Dark Tower series? Oh, ask me about random series at the end. I have read 2 books in the Dark Tower series when I was younger, but at the end, let me see. I'll have like a Q&A slide where you can like just ask me about anything book related. So yeah. Save your book-related questions. If not, you might be here for like half an hour with you guys going like, have you read this book? And me going yes or no. Also, Sidious! Welcome back to the Kamo Squad. And my day has been sweet. Hi for jumping in. And today I have like a long list of like quote-unquote pre-gaming chatting. We might do it start a stream tomorrow, or literally just tomorrow's stream because tomorrow is chatting stream, or we might do it end of today. I don't know. I'm guessing start a stream tomorrow because today will probably be a little bit shorter, like 2-3 hours, I'm guessing, unless I yap about the books for a long time. A long time. But yeah, tomorrow's stream is just a chatting stream. But presentation, Kamos! Presentation! Ta-da! I have made a bona fide, real PowerPoint today. Yes, a proper, real PowerPoint. Honestly, yesterday was my non-streaming day, but I did so much VTuber stuff and then so much like other miscellaneous stuff that it was basically like a VTuber workday without streams. The biggest relaxation I did is like I took a 1.5 hour plus nap. Yeah. A proper PowerPoint, doki doki, yeah, the doki doki waku waku. Yeah, let me put the music just a couple notches down. There we go. Do I ever have weekends? My weekends I spend streaming with you guys, so... Yeah. They're weekends though, like I enjoy streaming a lot, but it is nice having one day every 2 weeks where I do non-streaming stuff. If only to catch up on chores, which actually I did, but Camels, back on track. For today, I have made a PowerPoint that's called Top 10 Fantasy and Sci-Fi Books. Is it top 10 fantasy and sci-fi books of all time? Well, no, because I have not read every single fantasy and sci-fi book out there. Which honestly, I doubt a single person has done that. If you want like a top 10 that gives you a top 10, like top 10 fantasy sci-fi books of 2025, or like top 10 fantasy and sci-fi books among like 100 books that was released the last 2 years. If you want lists like that, there are like book specialists, like book review specialist YouTubers that might be able to give you that. But for me, this is top 10 fantasy sci-fi books among the fantasy sci-fi books that I have read during my life that I also remembered when I was making this PowerPoint. Yeah. You like to separate these two genres? The reasons they're together is because I've read way more fantasy than sci-fi, and I wanted to be able to talk about them together. Because for me, they're adjacent genres, like they appeal to me in very similar ways. And then also in the library that I grew up next to, they would categorize fantasy and sci-fi books together. Like they were just like in the same shelf area. So mentally for me, since I grew up with that at my local library, I tend to categorize like fantasy sci-fi together when I think about it in my mind. But they are definitely two different genres. Yes. One has science, one has fantasy, but sometimes they're mixed, and sometimes you have like a sci-fi book that's more like fantasy adjacent, or you have a fantasy book with a lot of sci-fi elements. Yeah. This is a pet peeve of yours. Fantasy is looking backwards while sci-fi is speculating about the future. Not necessarily. That's why they're not mutually exclusive. Have I read that many books? When I was younger, I read almost the entire fantasy, sci-fi, and young adult section of my local library. Just my local library happened to have less sci-fi books than fantasy. But I read like basically the entirety of that section that I wanted to read. I think I tended to skip some of the young adult like romance books a little bit, but I read so much. So much. Yeah, literally there was a period in elementary, like later elementary school and junior high school, elementary school especially, I would bike to my local library, borrow like a stack of 10 books, bring them home, read them, and then the next week I would return them and like repeat the cycle. So I did a lot of reading. Yeah, they had my card number memorized. Yeah, I've talked about this before. Some of the librarians had my lending card number memorized because I forgot my card sometimes. I also managed to memorize my own lending card number eventually, but yeah, they had my card memorized. They knew me by name. They were like, "Oh, you're back, Kanna." Like they recognized me fairly quickly. And also in junior high school, like end of junior high school, I actually did a little bit of like part-time weekend work there, kind of like putting books back on shelf type work. So yeah, I'm a big fan of libraries and I'm a big fan of books. Yeah, the regular girl look, yeah. So yeah, lots of reading, but the last like 5+ years I haven't read too much because VTubers, and then work, and then my time being occupied by that. Also, I will say I should really have chosen something from that and put on here, but I've read a lot of those like Chinese, Korean light novels, which honestly a lot of them are in the fantasy genre. I kind of now I'm regretting that I didn't put any of them on here, but maybe that would be something separate for the future. But I have some book series on here that are going to be on my top 10 that I haven't finished. Actually, quite a lot of them I haven't finished. So I want to go back this year and like reread or finish some of these book series. But let's start. Let's begin. I can't be on the first PowerPoint slide for the entirety of this stream. I mean, I probably could, but then you guys are going to be like in like some sort of suspended anticipation the entire stream, and then I'm just like, oh, I talked for 2 hours, now we end, and you never got to see any of the PowerPoint. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, Kamos, first book. Ta-da! I figured we might start off with a classic. Oh, I'm blocking Chibi Kanna a little bit. I have made a little slide template for myself, which I think is pretty cute. There's the title of the series or the book will be top left, and then the author will be top right, and then I made a favorite part, worst part section. And this is the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. Absolutely zero bad parts. The bad parts might surprise you what I put in there sometimes. But yes, this is a classic. And I will say, I'll just start off by saying, I have not read the entirety of the Discworld series, but part of the charm of the Discworld series is that this is a type of book series that your local library might have had a couple of these books, which was the case with mine. Like, my local library did not have all of them. They had a couple. So I read some of the ones that was at my local library. There's a ton. Yeah, there's a ton. So I read some of the ones that was at my local library, which two of those were Mort and is it called Small Gods? I think it's Small Gods. I'm covering the title of the top book there, but those two I've read and I really like. Let me actually go here. Yes. This is one of my favorite parts about the series. Is a lot of the books, of course, you can read them as part of the greater Discworld continuity, but you can read a lot of them as one-offs. Would I read in English or Norwegian? Oh, these ones I read in English. I started reading English fantasy books in elementary school, so yeah, that's part of how I learned English reading. So my English reading comprehension is actually really high. I like the vocabulary that I can read is way bigger than the vocabulary that I put into my everyday conversation on stream. I did one of those like reading comprehension like quizzes that was going around some years ago, and I scored really, really high on that. But yeah, so Discworld, this one you can just pick up a lot of the different books as one-offs. Like Small Gods made total sense to me as a one-off when I read it, and Mort as well. It does probably help that Mort is an earlier book in the series, but yeah. Would recommend books where the Night Watch are main characters. Yeah, I will also say Death is hilarious. Death, like the personification of Death, is a fictional character, like an actual character in the series. And he's hilarious. I love him. He's probably my favorite Discworld character. I haven't even read all the books with Death in it, but it's really good. You've only read Mort, but you really need to read more. Yeah, it's really good, and that's like you can kind of pick and choose. I think there's also probably overviews online of which books have which protagonists, because this is a thing the series does is that Death, for example, like Death features as a main or primary cast in some of the Discworld books. And then you have some of the Discworld books that features, as you guys were saying before, the Night Watch. I know there's also some that features wizards and like mages more heavily. There is different things like that. And then there's more standalone. I think Small Gods, which I read, is one that's more standalone. and things. But yeah. The witches are great. Yeah, I read one of the books with the witches in it. I remember. I just don't remember exactly which one it is. I think it's one of the earlier though. But yeah, so some of the stuff I love, you can read them as one-offs. Death is an hilarious character. Death also speaks in all caps. When Death talks, or I think thinks as like internal thoughts in the series, it's always all caps, which I like. I like the dedication. Also, hi for jumping in. Yeah. If you've not read all of Discworld books, you'll never know it's actually a science fiction series. This is like a sci-fi fantasy like mix-up, actually, kind of. I can explain a little bit why. But yeah, to go through my list of favorite parts. The characters are very fun. I love the writing in this, and also the books are shorter than a lot of the other stuff that's on my list. I don't remember exactly how short, but I swear these books are thinner when they're on the bookshelf. So if you want like shorter reading experiences, and you don't need to commit to reading all the 40 plus books that's in it. But if you want a shorter reading experiences, like reading a Discworld book, like one of the more self-contained ones, is a really good experience. Yeah. Short for me or short in general? Short for me? I consider a long book to be 600 plus. It has to be 600 plus. Like anything under 600 is medium. Usually capping at around 300 or less pages. Yeah, exactly. Like they're 300 or less. Which for fantasy books is generally shorter. There are of course probably outliers, but a lot of them are like in that 300 page realm. They absolutely hold up for adult readers. Yeah. These ones for sure hold up. Yeah, 300 is fairly short. Yeah, exactly. Fun fact about the author: when Terry Pratchett was knighted, he said no good knight didn't have their own sword. So he had a meteorite melted down and forged into a sword. Did he? That's pretty cool. You got Small Gods next to you. It's actually 350 pages. Yeah, that checks out. Small Gods is again the top book you see here with the eagle and stuff on it. Also, all of these books takes place in the same world, which I don't think it's a spoiler to explain the world. And the world is kind of this picture I have here. It's the reason I included this picture is because Discworld takes place in a disc-shaped world. Like the world is the disc you can see on top of air. So it takes place on a disc-shaped world that's held up by 4 elephants on the back of a turtle, and the turtle flies through space, which is where the sci-fi aspect comes in. And the people of the world like are aware of this, and like some of the stuff that like takes place in the book is like researchers and stuff trying to research the turtle and like figure out like, can we communicate with a turtle? Yeah, the great Atsuin, great Atsuin, the turtle. So yeah. Turtles all the way down. Yeah, disc, elephant, turtle. That's how it goes. But yeah, so heavily recommend if you like, you know, interesting world building and stuff like that. Well, yeah, the elephants also have a name. I actually did a little bit of research when I was making this PowerPoint. So I read the names when I was making it, but I don't remember them. And I definitely don't remember from reading it, because it's been a while since I've read any of the Terry Pratchett books, but they made a really big impression. Like, I still remember the overarching plots of the books that I did read. And then the worst part of the series for me is that I've only read a couple of the books in the series. Like, I think I read around 5. Like, max 5 books. But I'm still putting it in my top 10 because it's that good. And also, that means I can go and read them all in the correct order, in the chronological order in the future. The worst part is that I didn't read enough. That's the only worst part that I have here, because I don't remember anything that I dislike. Usually, if a book is like 300 pages, I would kind of put on the worst parts that it's not longer. But I'm not going to put that as a bad thing here, because the book series itself is so long. So even though a lot of the books is just 300 plus minus pages, the fact that there's around 40 books kind of makes it a lot longer than the other series, which are 3 books that have like 600 plus pages, like way longer. Have you seen the movies based off his books? I have not. But yeah, so it's that's the bad part, is that I need to read more. And I haven't read any of the Nightwatch books, which I've heard those are really fun. And I've not read them. Would recommend people starting with either Word Sisters or Guards. Oh, Guards is what it's the it's a Nightwatch one, I think. I'm assuming. Either the book itself or the series needs to be long. I mean, there can be good one-off books, but then I'm usually sitting there at the end being like, ah, I wish I had more. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but... Guards is the first Nightwatch. Ah, yeah, that makes sense, And I think Mort is the first one where Death is the main character. I think it's the 4th overall, I want to say, for Mort. So I would say Mort is also actually a good starting point. Mort was the first one that I read back in the day, I'm pretty sure. I think I read Mort and then Small Gods. Yeah. When you used to work at a bookstore, it would drive you insane how unorganized the Discworld series would get on the shelf, and you would almost always organize them in release order. Yeah, I think release order is the best way for this series, like organization-wise, on a shelf at least. The book title is literally Mort. Yeah, you can see here, it says Terry Pratchett, and then Mort under Mort. Yeah. So I heavily recommend Mort as a starting point from the ones that I've read. It really sucks you in. Yeah. Mort is a great entry point because Death is the one character that shows up in every other story at some point. Yeah, exactly. Death being the literally personification of death. You know, it makes sense that it's a reoccurring character you're going to see across a lot of the books. Not as the feature character necessarily, but, you know, he's there. Oh, also, Tomo, did you sneeze? Tomo is sitting on the cabinet that's like a little bit like behind the desk, and he just did a big sneeze. Now he's looking at me, licking his nose, going like... Oh, you sneezed again, sir? Yeah. Wow, a third sneeze. It's like every time I look away, he sneezed again. Again? Sir, are you fine? Are you okay? He's like, literally every time I turn, he's just licking his nose. Oh, now he's shaking his head. Tomo? Are you okay? Oh, now he's using his back foot to his neck. Oh, are you coming? Hey, come here, Tomo. Come. Ah! Ah! There's my good boy. There's my good boy. Jump down on the desk here. Yeah. Oh, I gotta write down the thing I want to remember to talk about tomorrow. There we go. So much stuff for tomorrow's chatting stream. Okay, but yeah, so this is book number 1, or book series number 1 rather. I know I said top 10 fantasy and sci-fi books, but a lot of these are going to be book series. So I don't have to pick a number 1 favorite out of the series. I'm just like, this series is real good. So this is first series. Is the Discworld series. Yeah. Okay, next one, Camus. This one, which... Oh no, that's not supposed to... You didn't see that. I don't read many self-contained novels, not really. Also, fantasy books are rarely self-contained. This one, I'm expecting less of you to know about. It's not like super obscure, but it's not like an all-time classic. We'll have several of less known stuff here. But this is the Black Magician Trilogy by Trudy Kannaman. Which I read back in junior high school. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And this one is a complete series, only 3 books. I mean, it has trilogy in the name of the series. That's kind of self-explanatory. You seen this on shelves occasionally? Yeah. If you've been at like a fantasy section of a bookstore, or if your local library when you grew up like had a decent like fantasy section, you might have like come across this one. And all the covers of the paperbacks are like this. They're like white background, cloaked magician, and just very, very simple. So they all kind of look like this, the other books as well. This is the first one though. The Magician's Guild is the first one. And my favorite parts. This is probably one of my favorite fantasy books that has a female protagonist. And it's kind of a coming of age series in that she's younger, like discovering magic, learning magic for the first time in the first book, and then it kind of follows as she grows older in the second and third. And I want to call it a coming of age. Also, the third book has romance in the third book, but I don't think there's romance. I don't remember if it starts in the third or if it's in the second as well, but yeah. You think you read it, but it has been a while? Yeah, it's been a while since I read this one as well. Romance? No! It's good romance, though. I enjoyed it at the time, at least. But yeah, it kind of fits with her story, because this is very... I would say you have some fantasy series that are more about the overarching world. Like, you feel like the overarching world and what happens in it is sometimes more important than the personal stuff related to the character. For me, at least as far as I remember, this one feels like more of a personal journey for the female main character. And I would say this is more of a classical fantasy book as well. Very like straightforward, but very enjoyable, like fantasy trilogy. The romance starts kind of late in the third book. Yeah, it came a little bit out of nowhere, but I liked it. And I feel like I don't have too much to say about this, because it's like a little bit simpler. House of Magic system. It's been so long since I read it, so I don't remember the exact stuff, but I remember it being pretty cool. I mean, it's the focus of the series. Well, yeah, some of these books I'm going to have vaguer memories of because it's been a while since I've read it, but this is more of a standard, but good standard fantasy, I want to say. And I included it because it's a female main character book that I really enjoyed. Worst part is I wanted more. When I was done with this one, I think especially since the romance came in late in the final book, I wanted more when it was done. Like, one in the fourth book that goes into like the main character's everyday life after the series, like maybe develops the romance more. Wanting more is going to be a recurring theme. Maybe. Not always though. Like, I don't necessarily feel like, oh god, I wanted more, like in the Discworld series, because I haven't read everything and there's a lot of books. But when there's only 3 books and there's plot points you want to have further developed, then I feel like it's valid to want more. But yeah, this one's pretty solid, pretty good. And this one I read through like borrowing books at the library when I was growing up, so I don't have the physical copies of this. And I actually googled it because I was googling like these books to find images and find cool cover images, and I found a version. Actually, I should have saved the picture. There's like a version of this book that has like a special hardcover release for the book's anniversary, like for one of the book's anniversaries or something they released a while back. So there's like a pretty like super cool artwork hardcover version of it that I'm considering buying. Because I don't have the physical copies. And I actually have quite a bit of physical copies of fantasy books because I like them. Yeah. How is exploration? Not much exploration in this one. Like, this one happens in a city, I want to say. Like, city and a magician's guild and stuff like that. I don't remember them traveling a lot. But again, it's been a while. But yeah, it's not like really an exploration journey. It's more like of a main character learns magic and grows as a mage type journey. Having a nice collection of hardcover books is so satisfying. Yeah, hardcover or paperbacks. A lot of the ones I have are paperbacks. Yeah, so that's my second. That's a second book. Perhaps a little bit less known, but it is good. And then... ta-da! Perhaps the biggest sci-fi book on today's list. The biggest, like, pure sci-fi book on today's list. Unsurprisingly, Dune is really good. Which, considering the fact that there's a Dune video game, there's many Dune movies, there's been many releases of this book. It's a classic for a reason. Yeah, I also chose the coolest cover of it that I could find on Google. So this is Frank Herbert's Dune. But this time, I'm not saying the Dune series, because I'm specifically meaning the first book here. The first Dune book. It was just a tiny bit successful. Yeah, just a tiny bit, like a smidge successful. Yeah, the old Dune RTS pretty much invented the game genre. Ooh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Not the MMO, no. Books only today, but only the first book. Also, yeah, I always read fantasy sci-fi stuff in English. I have read some fantasy sci-fi in Norwegian when I was younger, but that was like Scandinavian published books. Didn't know that Dune is an MMO RPG. Don't rub it in, Kamos. But yes, favorite parts. Sandworms! Oh my god, the sandworms. I remember when I read this, and again, a lot of these books I read back at my local library, so junior high school age. And I remember reading this back in junior high school and getting the, I don't want to say what the twist is, but the twist with the sandworms, like, in the latter half of the book. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. It sparked my love of sandworms. Brace the sandworms. So yeah, really good. If you've read it, I actually haven't watched the modern movies yet. Are they complete now, Kamos? Are the modern Dune movies complete? Because I didn't want to watch them without them being complete. Also, chat is lagging for a little bit. There we go. Oh, now it's moving. Not yet? Oh. Okay. Third movie comes out in 2027. Okay, so when the third movie comes out... Oh, this December? Ah, okay. When the third movie comes out, I'll watch it because I wanted to wait. Third and final towards the end of this year. Ah, okay. Yes. I still remember the book quite vividly. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the female and male, like, center characters and stuff. They covered the first book already. The third one is covering the second book. Oh, is it? I guess I could go to my worst part right away. It's been a while since I read it. That's one of the worst parts. But also, the worst part is that the sequel sounded so trippy when I read about them. And also had, like, other characters in them. So I categorically refused to read them. That's why I've only read the first book and why I'm specifying the first book here, Kamos. Because I really like the characters in it. And I was like, wait, it's not about the same characters. And it's like trippy stuff. I was like, no, I'm not reading it. Dune Messiah is more of the first book though. Ah, but it's like the ones that come after. So younger me was like, no, I refuse. Especially since I heard it got trippy. I think it because I got burned, Camels. It's because I got burned on another sci-fi series before I contemplated reading the rest of Dune. If you have seen or read Ender's Game, I read Ender's Game and Dune around the same time. And then my local library had the sequels for Ender's Game. So I read them, and by the time I got to the third sequel of Ender's Game, stuff was really, really weird. And was like basically not even close to what the first book was. So I was like, what? What? And I dropped it. It's one of the few books that I've read that I've ever dropped. Like, I had to stop. I was like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. But yeah, so because of that, because I got really burnt by Ender's Game, I then categorically refused to read the rest of Dune. That series takes a huge turn. Yeah, suddenly there was like colonization of like a different planet and like farm life or something. I don't remember quite what happened. I just remember it got really trippy. You still rate the first three when it's when the face dancers come that it gets super weird. For Dune, face dancers, that sounds weird. Is that the one with the terrible adaptation? Yes, I will also say Ender's Game. I read the book like back in the day, and then when the movie came out, me and a friend from university, because it came out while I was in university, we went and watched it. She enjoyed it a lot, but she also hadn't read the book. I was just sitting there being like, why did the good parts of the book last like 2 seconds, and then they dragged out the like more lackluster parts? So I wasn't a fan of the Ender's Game adaptation. I kind of at the end there, I was sitting there being like, that's it? And I was like, I feel cheated. So yeah. Your favorite sci-fi is something you've never seen on other people's top list? The Honor Heriting series. Oh, I see. I don't think I've heard of that one actually. I'm the book is better person. I mean, it depends. Like, the books aren't always better, but for Ender's Game, very much so. Very much so. But yeah, Dune. Really enjoy Dune. Sandworms, amazing. The other part, I really like that it's a desert world. I feel like so many fantasy books they go for like the forests, the fields, the jungles, the mountains. Like, there is less books that takes place in desert environments. Like, maybe it's just what I've read, but I feel like overall, of the books that I've read, very few takes place in a desert or savannah style environment. So I really like that aspect of the book. And the sense of like adventure and discovery that comes with the entire sci-fi genre. And also sandworms. Yes, again, sandworms. Yeah, you really like the guild lore? Yeah, the guild lore. Yeah, this one is just like every single thing is new and cool. Do you have a favorite Dune book after the first one? I only read the first one. Yeah, I did not read Dune Messiah, which I think is the second, but yeah, only the first. But highly recommend the first. Really, really good sci-fi. It's a classic for a reason, and you don't need to read past it if you don't want to. Though if you want to, that's an option. You're kind of tired of desert settings due to modern media, the orange filter. I mean, that's more of a fault of movies than anything else. Movies putting anything that happens in a like drier environment under a yellow or orange filter. But books don't do that, because in books, you imagine what's happening. Unless it comes with like some illustrations or a cover or stuff, then you get a sense of what they want you to think it looks like, but you decide what it looks like. And then if everything looks orange in your mind, then you're putting an orange filter on it, and that's on you. And not on the book necessarily. You need to imagine away the orange filter. Yeah. Now you're imagining a book using orange filter on the pages. I mean, you do have books that are printed on more like creamy colored paper, like that are more off-white, than other papers. But that's, I think, is just for pleasant reading, because if you're reading on stark white pages, it gets tiring on your eyes after a while. But yes, this was number 3. I should have put a number on the slides. I'm going to lose track. Next one. Shadows of the Apt. There's a couple of things that, if you've heard me rambling about books in the past, some of these are not going to be a surprise. And one of them is Shadows of the Apt by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Which, you might have heard of Adrian Tchaikovsky for his sci-fi series. God, what's it? The Children of Time or something like that? Also, my YouTube browser chat keeps on like slowing up for some reason. Let me refresh it. Why is YouTube like, I see it appearing on stream quicker than I see it in my chat window. I don't know why. Children of Time, yeah. Adrian Tchaikovsky has written Children of Time. It's his more recent series and his more famous one. But Shadows of the Apt is amazing. And it's a complete series. You're slow? No, just the browser window is kind of slow for some reason today. But I refreshed it, so hopefully that helps. Tchaikovsky has written so much, yeah. The good thing about Shadows of the Apt, it's a complete series. And it's a long series, which I like. It's a 10-book series. You see all the covers here. This one has been released with quite a lot of different covers. And this is one of the iterations. Guessing there's a bug team? Yes. So, this takes place in a fantasy world. And one of the reasons why it's up here on my list, and one of the reasons why I talk about it a lot, is it's one of my favorite fantasy series or like fantasy worlds. Because it's a really unique take on world building. And the people in the series aren't just regular humans. They're all something called Kindon. Which is basically... like, you know, you see like Kemono Mimi VTubers, like I'm a duck girl, you have cat girl VTubers, you have like VTubers like that, right? Like, they have traits from animals. Like that, the humans in the Shadows of the Apt series have traits from bugs, but more in a like a Kemono Mimi or like slightly like magical power adjacent way. So you have Ant Kindon, who has like ant traits, skin color, and like some physical features, and they can communicate telepathically like ants. You have Spider Kindon, who tend to be a more matriarchal society, you know, like the women's rule, very pretty, very seductive. More like powers related to that. You have Butterfly Kindon, who are more rare, very ethereal, have more magical powers and things like that. It's like there's a lot of traits that they get inherently from the bug that they are related to, kind of. Isn't it just Hollow Knight? No. Because these people are very much human, but more like, yeah, there's also Mantis Kindon, who has like cool arm blades. It's like they're human, but they have, in a Kemono Mimi VTuber way, they have bug features. There's magic too? Yeah, so there's magic. This also is part of the series name. It's called Shadows of the Apt. And every kind of like race of bug people, but also like people individually, are split into either apt or inapt in the series. And the people that are apt, or like the bug people that are apt, can operate machinery. Like, they can do innovation, they can make locks, make tools, make like airships and things like that, and they can operate them as well. But they do not possess magic. But on the flip side, and this is a really cool magic system that I like, is that the people that are inapt usually have varying degrees of magical abilities and powers, but they cannot operate machinery. Like, they can't operate a crossbow, they can't unlock a lock, they can't drive drive an airship. Like, they literally, their bodies and their minds cannot comprehend it. It's like a huge mental divide. And it's really cool. It's really cool. And it goes way deeper with that. It's that much of a difference? Yeah. So the way that the world building is developed. You haven't read these yet, but you love Tchaikovsky's Children of Time series? Yeah. It's a really good and like interesting and innovative like world building in this one. I really like it. And it goes all the way. They're called inapt? Yeah. Inapt. I don't know if it's a play on inapt, but it's inapt if I remember correctly. I just bought like all the physical volumes of this, so I'm going to try and read the entire series this year. Because I got all the way up to the Scarab Path. So actually I haven't finished the series. I think I got to the Sea Watch. When I read it initially. Because when I initially read the series, it wasn't complete. I think. Or at least I didn't have access to all the volumes. But now I have it, so I'm excited. Also, I did all of this without talking about, like, showing the favorite part slide, but yes. World building, amazing. Magic versus technology system, very, very interestingly thought out. The Bug Kindon people, great. Writing, super solid. And the building conflict, like the overarching conflict in this one is also super good. Like, there's a conflict that starts developing basically from the first chapter of book 1 and goes throughout the entire series. And it's like kind of the overarching conflict. Yeah, it's like varying factions, but there's a lot of deeper stuff going on. I don't want to spoil it, and it's a lot to explain because, again, 10 books. But it doesn't like you can have a longer book series that has like contained conflicts for different books, or like there's like many mini arcs. This one has overarching conflicts. And I will say this one also follows multiple people. It's a multiple POV series. So if you absolutely hate that, this might not be for you. But I will say I usually dislike series that has multiple POVs, or like too many POVs. I don't like it. This is one of the few series where I actually kind of like it, though I have my favorite characters in the series. I really like a character called Che, like C-H-E. Che, she's my probably favorite character in the series, and she is one of the overarching like main POVs that is followed for a lot of the books. And I have other characters that I like less. But I kind of like it. I don't remember how many in particular, but yeah. The worst part is that there can be too many characters at times. If you don't like following multiple POVs, and maybe a character you don't like has a lot of screen time. It kind of depends on who you like or not. It's a bit jarring on the first read, but you get accustomed to the jumping POV pretty quickly. Yeah. When you first start reading, it can be a little bit off-putting, but you get used to it. And yeah, I don't like all of the characters equally. Any characters where I groan when their chapters show up? I don't know if I groan because it's all like interesting parts of the overarching story, or for like smaller character arcs. But definitely there's some I like more and some I like less. I will say though, this is a series that's very good that it's complete, because when there's multiple POVs, I like reading it in a shorter amount of time. Like, this is a series that's nice to read, like kind of binging it over a shorter period, because I think it's harder to remember if you read it like years apart. If you read it years apart, then it's harder to keep track of characters and storylines. But if you read it all in like a continuous order, then it's better. So I want to read Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I don't like the shifting POVs there. And the world building isn't cool enough for me to want to commit to reading the shifting POVs. This one is, though. This one is really good. That's how you fall off book series. Sometimes takes too long in between installments. Yeah, this is why I'm really happy that this one is complete, and why I feel very comfortable recommending it to you guys. Because, you know, for that reason. But yeah, so highly recommend Shadows of the Apt. On my top 10 list today, this one is like top 3, probably. Yeah, probably top 3. on my list today. Top 5 at least. Is this really, really good? Does it drag on too long? I don't think so. I don't think so. If it had kept on going past what it did, maybe, but yeah, I like it. Also, hi if you're jumping in. Konkan na. So yeah, that's book 4 or book series 4, and then we have ta-da! We have talking about longer series. This is a trilogy that's set within a larger series, but I have not completed the larger series. I have read, I think, 4 of the trilogies or duologies in this series, but I haven't completed it. Very vintage looking art, yeah. This is a very vintage looking cover because it's an older book. And this is from, oh god, I think I wrote it here. It's from the Rift War cycle. And the series itself is by Raymond E. Feist. But this trilogy within the series also had the co-author Janiverse. Surprised I didn't write a trilogy. I actually did on one of these slides, but I was like, no, it's not written like that. It's written like trilogy. But I say it like trilogy. Hardcover copies of Magician go for like $500 now, does it? Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, Raymond E. Feist is a very well-known fantasy author because of his classic series, The Rift War Cycle. It's part of a huge universe, but in contrast to this, like this one is a longer series, but it's not like, it doesn't have separate, like you're not supposed to read like first 3 separate, and then second 3 separate, and then like last 4. This is like a continuous series of 10 books. But Raymond E. Feist's Rift War cycle has a lot of like trilogies or duo books. Like it has like the first trilogy, which starts with Magician, and then this is actually the second. I think the Empire trilogy is the second one in the series. And then you have some books that are like 2 books paired together, and then like 4 books paired together. Like there's different like stories like that. And there are overarching characters in the series that appear in a lot of the books. Like the main character in Magician, I think, is one of the biggest characters in the series. But then you also have smaller characters that appear mainly for like their own contained series, which I'm pretty sure is the case with the female protagonist in the Empire trilogy. Is this the same one that did Magician? Yeah. This is part of the Rift War cycle. The reason I really like this one, this is the Empire trilogy. It has a strong female protagonist. It kind of follows her from when she's younger to when she's like strong position. I don't want to spoil anything, but it follows the lead over a larger period of time with some satisfying character and world development. It's part of the huge universe, so it's like, when you've done reading this, you're like, I want some more. Like, not necessarily that you're getting more with the same character, but you're like, I want some more of this. Then there's other stuff in the series that you can read. And the world building is really interesting. It has 2 worlds, or like 2 dimensions that are connected by stuff called rifts, which is Midkemia and Calavan. And I'm pretty sure this series takes place in Calavan, so it's some interesting world shenanigans that plays into the plot. Yeah. And it's more classical fantasy. I would categorize this as more of like classical stuff, but it gets complicated again because of the big universe. Feist has a lot of good books, yeah, and this is probably my favorite out of Raymond E. Feist books that I've read. The worst part of this is that the Rift War cycle is huge. It is complete now, actually. It completed, I want to say not that long ago, but it's probably been a while since it's completed now. But by the time when I read this, the Rift War cycle wasn't complete. But Rift War cycle is huge, and that is both good and bad depending on what you like. Though this series is only a trilogy, so you don't have to read it all. I think there's a Stargate at one point. I don't remember, but yeah, spent so many books. Yeah, I can Google it. Let me check. Rift War cycle. It's a Rift War cycle. It has its own Wikipedia page. Okay, so it started in 1982 with Magician. And then it ended in 2013 with Magician's End. Oh my god, it's been over 13 years. It's been 13 years since it ended. It felt recent. But yeah, it spanned 30 years. And I think there's around 30 books as well. Yeah, and this is the second. The one I have up here, Daughter of the Empire. The first book here released in 1987, then the second in 1990, and the third in 1992. Yeah. Yeah, it's technically not the longest series on the list, because Discworld has more books, I'm pretty sure. But the books in this series is more standard fantasy length, so you have like 500 pages plus minus. I want to say on average. Some shorter, some longer, but that's around average. Does it say pages for this? Oh yeah, this one is 394 pages. The other book is 580 for the second. And then the third book in this trilogy is 613. So yeah, more the standard fantasy length. Is it words or worst? Oh, words. It's words. I spelled it wrong. Don't worry about it. I wrote this PowerPoint, Kamos. There might be spelling mistakes. There will probably be spelling mistakes. There's already been spelling mistakes. You're staring at a spelling mistake. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah. It's Wirtz. Wirtz. Yeah, Janny Wirtz. But yeah, so that's this one. Really good. Classical fantasy, part of the Rift War cycle. Real entertaining. I also like the setting for this one. Just like the world building setting for this one was cool. I need an editor to review for spelling mistakes. I'm my own editor, Cobbles. I am my own editor. Now you want the bratwurst? Maybe also reading this will make you crave a bratwurst. Who knows? Okay, next one. Next one. Letter B Dragons. And this is, I'll just tell you already, the worst part of this one is again going to be that I haven't completed the series. Because I actually only have read the 3 first ones. Because at the time when I read it, that was all that was out. Because I started this one when it was ongoing, and now it's complete. Pretty covers, yeah. This is Dragons. It's Tamraira series by Naomi Novik. I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah. This one is actually one that if they did a good movie adaptation of this, they would need like a really good CGI budget though. If they did a good movie adaptation, I think it would be super popular. You'd argue it went on for too long, the last 4 felt weaker to you? Perhaps, but I think overall it's a really strong series. And as I said, I haven't read the final 6 yet. Sounds like Aragon. This is not Aragon because this one is quite grounded in reality because it's alt history. Fantasy has a lot of subgenres, and one more grounded in reality is alternate history fantasy. This one is basically answers the questions: what if the Napoleonic Wars had dragons? Yes. What if there was dragons in the world during the Napoleonic Wars? So the Napoleonic Wars is the overarching setting for this entire series. And there is also dragons. But this one goes quite in-depth on warfare. Like, it has naval warfare. It, of course, like, dives into, like, the implications of dragons and aerial warfare and everything related to that. Like, smaller dragons being used as wartime couriers. Bigger dragons kind of being treated as like, aerial warships and things. And also has an approach to dragon riding, where I can just say that the big dragons in this one, instead of just having one dragon rider, usually has like a main rider who the dragon is bonded to, but they also have like a complete crew. Like the big dragons has like a dragon rider crew, which is pretty cool. Yeah. What if dragons exist? Yeah. So the approach to this one is way more grounded in realism, I want to say, than a lot of fantasies are. They got our own pit crew. Not quite pit crew, but like crew that rides the like huge dragons together for warfare. Yeah. Big dragons feel closer to ships with their crews. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like an airship with an airship crew. Like they got cannons mounted on the dragons. I don't remember the particular details, but there is stuff. There's stuff. Is there guns in the setting? There is guns in the setting, but the dragons aren't necessarily super susceptible to guns. You gotta remember, a dragon hide, tough. Dragon hide and usually all iterations of dragons are really tough. Muskets, yeah, they have like muskets and stuff. But yeah, so this one is grounded in historical events. Alt history, Napoleonic Wars. Great variety of dragons, like just like the covers here, the variety of dragons from really small ones that can take like one courier for small courier dragons to big dragons that doubles as warships. The dragon variety is great. Lots of war and tactics, like way more focused on war and tactics and stuff than a lot of other fantasy books. And as a core group of characters that develop over time, that's perhaps not new, but I don't know, I really like the core group of characters. Like, you have the main character, of course, but I like the side characters. And the side characters have super good development, I think. Also, the worst part is I've only read the first 3 books. As you might have guessed, Kamos, the worst part slides isn't really like any bad parts in a lot of these. It's just that either there's no more of it and I've read everything, or I didn't read everything yet. Are the dragons like characters too, or are they just animals? That depends on the dragons. I don't want to spoil too much, but you have some dragons that are intelligent level and can talk like humans, but then you have other dragons that are more like animals. So there is a specter, which is why I say there's a great variety of dragons. Worst part is just my pet peeves. Yeah, worst part is just my pet peeve section, basically. Which is always going to be the worst part of a book for you, will be what is your pet peeves. And this is my favorite book, Skamos. This is top 10. Top 10 isn't going to have a lot of worst parts for me. How is that a non-spoiler answer? Because you learn it in the first book. I'm not going to tell you to what degree, though. But yeah, it's really cool, really interesting. And all in on the dragons. It's dragons and Napoleonic warfare. And if either or both of those appeal to you, I think you're going to like this book series. Just arrived and you see how I mentioned Discworld? Yeah. Of course, Discworld had to be on here. Also, if you have like Q&A questions about series, that like if I have read X series and stuff like that, we'll get to that at the end. At the end, I'll let you guys ask any questions you want related to books and stuff. Books and stuff. Okay, next one though. Next one. Bam! More dragons! Because did you know I like dragons? Did you know I kind of like dragons? This one I have as a physical copy. I have the entire series as pocket books, like what do you call it? Pocket? Is this pocket versions? Hardcover? Pocket covers. I forget now. Never heard of this either. This one is from an author that has a big overarching series. Paperback, that's it. I forgot what paperbacks was for a second. I have this one as paperbacks. This one is by Mercedes Lackey, and she has an overarching big fantasy series called Is it Valdemar Chronicles? I actually have read quite a bit of her Valdemar series, and I like it. But by far my favorite thing that she has written is Dragon Jousters. Which you might be like, Dragon Jousters? Is that like medieval England jousting on dragons? Heralds of Valdemar, that's it. Heralds of Valdemar is her overarching series. It's kind of more of the Raymond E. Feist style, that she has a lot of like trilogies and duologies and stuff like that set in an overarching series that happens in the same universe and stuff. But Joust is different. Joust is a standalone. It's a standalone 4-book series. And one of the reasons I love it is the setting. It's ancient Egypt, or like ancient Egypt adjacent inspired setting. So again, desert climate type stuff, which I love. It's super cool. It's also the reason why the main character on the cover isn't wearing much, because desert climate and Egyptian stuff. 4 books in standalone. 4 books standalone in the sense that it's not part of an overarching series. So just a 4-book self-contained series. But yeah, it has an ancient Egyptian-inspired fantasy world setting. Also, is more of a classical fantasy. Because this is a little bit of an older book series. And dragons are the focus. Like dragons, dragon riders, in a different way from the previous series, Temraira. But dragons and dragon riding and stuff is the focus. And you follow the main character. This is also, you could say, in a sense, coming of age story, in the sense that the main character is younger when he starts, and he starts out as a slave servant. Actually, I think he's just straight up a slave. I think if I remember correctly, he's just straight up a slave. I could go and run and grab my copy of the book and read from the back of it, but I think he just starts off as a slave, and then at the end he's obviously a hero because he's the main character. But it's a nice journey. And the main conflict is 2 rivaling nations. And they both have dragons and both use dragons for warfare. We had dragons in the Napoleonic era and now in ancient Egypt. I don't remember if this one had a big focus on magic. I don't think there's much magic in this. I think there's some magic, but the main thing is the dragons. At least for the main character. But yeah, so this is like fun classic fantasy. I really enjoyed the setting. I enjoyed the main characters. I like the dragons. Dragons are cool. And dragons are the main focus through all the 4 books. The worst part is that the spine of my paperback copy of all of them, but especially the first book, is the worst spine bending that I have ever done. Like Kamos, when I was younger, when I was a junior high school, which is when I bought this paperback series for myself. When I was junior high school and when I was in elementary school, I didn't know you weren't supposed to bend the backs of books, Kamos. So a lot of my older paperbacks that I have are like broken into insanity. Like you can like see like there's like around 8 to 10 individual like lines down the back of it, and it's curved outwards. It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. And it's not the book's fault, it's my fault. But it's every time I look at this series in my bookshelf, I go like, why past me? Why did I do this? It makes me want to buy a new set of the paperbacks. It makes me want to buy a new one, because literally what I would do when I was younger is I would read it and I would be like, the book, like, it's not opening completely because, you know, book. And I would just be like, crack! Just crack it open. So yeah, kids do stupid stuff. And now as an adult, I regret it. Do they have hardcovers? I don't know. I haven't checked it out. Possibly. If you take a low heat to the spine of the book, it can help with some of the bending. It's not going to help my copy of the Dragon Jousters books. It's really bad. Is bookbinding a new cover a possibility? I think for these ones, it's such a cheap paperback style that I would just buy new ones if I was going to fix it. But yeah, Dragon Jousters, great. Classic fantasy, dragons, ancient Egypt, rivaling factions, war. Great story from slave to hero for the main character, and it's really good. And then I take emotional damage every time I look at it in my bookshelf, but that's on past me, so yeah. You cracked books as a kid too? Yeah. Honestly, I think I probably did that with some of the library books I borrowed when I was younger, but those spines already came like pre-cracked, so yeah. But yes, this one. I also recommend the Valdemar series that she has written, but it's very different. The Valdemar series is very different, though it does have pretty unique like magic system, and the horses, the heralds are pretty cool in that one. The poor library books, yeah, they came pre-cracked commos. It's probably where I learned to crack spines. I learned from watching books that had cracked spines and be like, oh, this is a thing you do with books. So I learned a bad habit, but I don't have it anymore. I stopped with it. I stopped with it in high school. Yeah, I think I stopped with it in high school. That's when I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Yeah, Dragon Jousters. And then Camels. I'm betting you that like 99.9% of you will not have heard of this, because it's actually... Did I write that? Oh, I didn't write it here. This is BL. I'll just tell you right away. This is BL, Camels. Don't judge me. The focus of this isn't the romance. I mean, there's the couple gets together early, but it's a long book series. It's a complete book series. It has like 10 books, but it's also BL. Okay, I'll just straight... I had to put it on here. It's really good. I really like it. It's a Lovecraft-inspired fantasy series, Camels. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know, but then one of you would go and pick this up and be like, oh, I want to read this Lovecraft-inspired fantasy series with detectives and stuff like that, and you'd be like, wait, why is it BL? How Stevie does it get? I honestly don't remember, because it's been a while since I read it. I have actually ordered... I have bought a couple of these in paperbacks now. I wanna buy it. It has a hardcover set for their anniversary. I wanna buy it all in hardcover. But it's good. It's good. It's Wyborn and Griffin. Are you Jordan L. Hawk? I'll talk about it like I talk about the others. It has cool world building. It takes place like this one. The characters actually travel to different locations, because it takes place on kind of like, you know, normal Earth-ish. But the city where most of it takes place, which is called Withershins, which is the name of this book, which I think is the first one. The Withershins city is where it takes place. And the city is similar to the Lovecraftian city of Innsmouth, if any of you are familiar with that. So the overarching, like, Lovecraftian, like, inspiration of the city is something that affects the entire series. And also the main characters is one of them is a detective, and two, the other one is a scholar slash historian. Yeah. Like a scholar type character. They have an interesting magic system. It takes place in Victorian era America, so that comes into play quite a bit. It's Fishmen. It's not Fishmen. Actually, it has a what do you call it? Not when it's not BL, but it's girls love. None of the main character are fish people. This is a tiny spoiler, but there is a fish girl. I said it was like Innsmouth. I said the city was like Innsmouth. Yuri. Yes, there is a fish girl slash human Yuri for some of the side characters later. It's Innsmouth and Lovecraft inspired Camels, but the main characters aren't fish people. But there is fish girl Yuri later. It's mostly known for evil fishmen. Well, one of the books features evil fishmen. Don't worry about it. This is sounding so wild. It's good though. It's good. It's good, I promise. And they do travel to different places of the world in some of the books. When people say Lovecraft inspired, it's never anything like what he wrote. It's not necessarily going to be Lovecraft's writing style, Kamos. It's just inspired. It has a lot of eldritch stuff. The city has like Innsmouth similar things, but it's dissimilar in other ways. I'm not convincing you for this one. I'm not necessarily getting you guys to read all of the things on my list, Kamos. I'm just telling you what I like. What my top 10s are. Yeah. What about the magic system? The magic is interesting. In the sense that magic isn't normal in the world, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've read like most of these Kamals, so I'm remembering it all a little bit more vaguely. But the scholar main character learns magic and gets an affinity for magic as the series goes along. Also, the worst part is I haven't finished the series yet. It's one of those on my list. Yeah. You're considering this one? I mean, if you like the themes and things, and you don't mind the BL, or if you like the BL, then this might be for you. Yeah. How many of these are there? Or like the ones I haven't finished yet? I mean, I think I've gone. Are the other ones? Oh yeah, there's 2 left after this. And one of them I have finished and one of them I haven't finished. But the one I haven't finished is not voluntary. That one I'm being kept from finishing it. And you know what series that is. You'll know why. I'll complain about it at length that I haven't finished it. Like, very at length. That's very Lovecraft at least. Magic not being normal, but being something people can learn. Yeah, and there's also cult stuff in this, by the way. There's cult stuff. Yeah. But yes, this is Wyborn and Griffin. Really like it. Next one continues the trend of me having a book series from an author on here where the author is more known from another series. Because that was the case with Adrian Tchaikovsky. Adrian Tchaikovsky, well known for Children of Time, not that well known for Shadows of the Apt, even though Shadows of the Apt came first because he got more known later. But highly recommend this one. And then, does anyone know Jim Butcher? Does anyone here know Jim Butcher? Because Jim Butcher is well known for something that isn't Codex Alera. Yeah. And this one, I'm going to tell you a fun fact instead of a worst thing about. Dresden Files. Yes, this is Harry Dresden. Which actually has gotten, like, a small TV series, I think? Like, this has spawned stuff beyond the books. I don't know if it's been... I don't think the TV series necessarily was, like, good, but... the Dresden Files series is good. I've read a couple of the books in that one, but I've only read 2 books in the series. I couldn't put it on, like, my favorite list. But this is the same author as the Dresden Files, and he wrote this one like in between the Dresden Files series. So this one doesn't predate the Dresden Files. It's like written in between. Codex Alera is a 6-book series that's self-contained in the sense that it's not related to the Dresden Files, and it is complete. And I said you had like alt history, Napoleonic stuff earlier. This one is fantasy universe, but inspired by the late Roman Empire for the protagonist's country. So this is like Roman military stuff, Roman warfare stuff in a fantasy setting. This one is a bit more high fantasy. Yeah, this is high fantasy rather than urban fantasy, which Dresden Files is. Dresden Files is. Yeah. Romance. It's a pretty cool fantasy world. I remember really liking the character that ends up being the female love interest in this one. Because the male character is the MC, who you can kind of see on the cover here. This is the first book, The Furies of Calderon. And really enjoyable story. Yeah, lots of drama, lots of war stuff. I remember having a great time with this when I was younger, and I actually have all the physical copies of this book because I bought the series and then read it. As I said, I did some reading, I did some Googling to find cover images, and I stumbled upon a fun fact about this when I was reading about it that I didn't know, Camels. How this series came into fruition, because this is a little, like, out of left field from the author of Dresden Files, because it's very, very different. And this one, I'll read this for you because it's in very small letters here. The idea for Codex Alera, this is from an interview from fantasyliterature.com, like an interview with Jim Butcher. The idea came from a writing craft discussion in an online writer's workshop. There was a discussion about like if good books can spring from bad ideas, or if no matter the author's skill, good ideas would always result in good books. So they were like a raging discussion back and forth. It raged back and forth in all capital letters, flame war between a bunch of unpublished writers. And finally, some guy dared me to put my money where my mouth was by letting him give me a cheesy central story concept, which I would then use in an original novel. So he wrote this on a dare from online forums. Me being an arrogant kid, I wrote him back saying, why don't you give me 2 terrible ideas for a story and I'll use them both? The core ideas he gave me were the Lost Roman Legion and Pokemon. So that was this entire series was spawned from, like, can you write a good series based on, like, a bad/cheesy prompt? And he got the prompt for the Lost Roman Legion and Pokemon, which resulted in Codex Alera, like a 6-book series. I think it was only supposed to be 3 or 4 books at first, and then it actually got popular. It got like a favorable reception, so he wrote 3 more. So it's a 6-book series. So he was like, bet? Yeah, literally he took a bet on it. Which I find so hilarious. And it's actually enjoyable. It's good. The cover doesn't give you the feelings of those either. Yeah, I think the Pokemon part comes in the fact that the kind of magic series the characters use is these elemental furies, which is why it's called Furies of Calderon. So that's probably the Pokemon aspect, but it doesn't feel Pokemon. Like, it feels nothing like Pokemon. But I can see it knowing the dare now. I can be like, oh yeah, I see where they went with the Pokemon. But again, it's nothing like Pokemon. It's more like the Roman aspect of it is way more prevalent. It's not AI slop, it's natural stupidity slop. Yeah. It's humans daring each other and then an author writing a 6-book series. Yeah. But yeah, so really enjoyable series. And I don't think the Dresden file... Is Dresden Files complete? Actually, wait, let me see. Is Dresden Files finished? No, it's not finished. It's still not finished. So this is Jim Butcher, who writes the Dresden Files. Dresden Files started in 2000. And the last one that got released was released in 2020. Or there's one that was released in 2026? Yeah, one was released in 2026, so it's still ongoing. So it's way easier to recommend this one compared to Dresden Files, because I like reading completed stories. I really like reading completed stories. Yeah, when did he write this one? Let me see. Codex Alera. He wrote it in 2004 to 2009, I think. Yeah. So he wrote this, like, in between writing the other stuff. Having to wait on the next book is agonizing. Yeah. So yeah, Codex Alera, if you like romance stuff and Pokemon, apparently, give this one a read. It's fun. And it's good. 6 books in 5 years. Yeah, some authors, are really productive. Some authors write a lot of books. And also, I think it depends on, like, just how in the groove you are. Sometimes you can be stuck with writer's block, other times it just flows. Like if you get a dare off the internet and you write a 6-book series out of it. I say romance and romance very similarly. Romance. 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 I mean, they're almost the same word. Camels. Don't worry about it. The spite fueled it? Yeah. I will say, out of all of this, Camels, I haven't gotten to my final one, which is also my top 1 favorite on the list, which is also the book that I'm being prevented from finishing to read. The Labyrinth of Echo. Ugh. Crying. I'm gonna crying kind of chibi here. Because I will tell you that the worst part is... I'll just go straight to here. The worst part is that this book is an 8-book series for the first series in the Labyrinth of Echo. The greater, like, Echo, like, continuing, like, written universe has, like, 24 plus books. The first series, only 4 out of 8 have been translated. Only 4 out of 8, and they were translated years ago. And I literally spent half an hour Googling the different publishers that have published this book, and also Googling what it would cost to get a book translated, because the author is Ukrainian. It's a Ukrainian author, and she writes in Russian. She wrote under the pen name Max Frey, but I think her name is Svetlana. I think she's kind of stepped away from the pen name a little bit, like more in recent years, but I looked up how much it would cost to get a novel translated, and apparently it costs between $12,000 to $25,000 to get a good translation of a book. So I was like, time to start petitioning the publishers with a, I don't know, a signing campaign or something to get them to translate it, because it's so good. It's really good. That's a lot. That's a lot. I looked into this extensively yesterday. Oh, I don't want to like... No, this one would not work with a translator, Camels. This is one of the most unique world buildings that I have ever read in a fantasy series, and it's the reason why I love it. This one is so unique, and even in the translation that it got, I have read reviews of this book from people that have read the original Russian and that also read the English translation, and apparently this English translation that it got previously is not even good, according to them. Like, a lot of them say that the humor doesn't even translate properly, and I found this one hilarious. Like, I really enjoyed the humor in this one, and apparently that, like, it's not even like translated to a degree that native Russian readers find satisfactory. Is there a fan translation effort? No. I literally have to just beg the publishers to translate this, or I don't know, do a signature campaign or something, or just hope that the author decides to translate it. Also, the cover for the novel in English is this. This is what the cover looks like. But as I was looking it up, I stumbled upon this is apparently the Russian version covers, and this is so good. This is like, wait, honestly, the fact that they went with this style of the cover for the English translation is a crime, because this is more like bog standard, like, cover. Like, you see 1,000 books with this style of cover. This cover style, like, makes you stop and, like, look at it on the shelf and be like, whoa, what is this? Yeah, the vibes. And I will say, having read the 4 books in the series, it really encapsulates the vibes. Like, this is the vibe of the series. This whimsicality, and like just trippiness and like just dark things and whatever you see here. This is encapsulate what this series is and why I love it so much. It's so good. Yeah, full of whimsy. Yeah. So I saw this and I was like, I have to include them on here just because they're some of the best book covers I've ever seen. It has like slight Art Nouveau vibes as well, which I love Art Nouveau. So, yeah. Okay, so Okay, now it's just me gushing about this book series for a bit. This one, I will say, actually, if you want to read about more this in depth, let me find you guys a link, because while I was looking up information about this, I stumbled upon... apparently, like, there's like a trope wiki. There's like a wiki for different tropes and stuff. And they have a section on the Labyrinth of Echo. I would only read the beginning parts of this if you don't want too many spoilers, because I actually think they spoil some stuff in the they do have some spoiler like protection text in this. But it goes like in depth in stuff from books that aren't translated. Because I read a little bit and I was like, oh, there's stuff here that I don't remember reading from the books. But it's written between 1996, and it says the last one was published in 2009. But the author, Svetlana Martinchik, she has published more stuff as well. It also says she's a Russian urban fantasy series. It is written in Russian, but the author is Ukrainian. And I think she lives in Lithuania. But yeah, I can read the starting part here actually from the Tropepedia, which I haven't seen before. It's actually pretty interesting wiki. So what it writes here is that the series concerns Sir Max. Sir Max, a regular schmo. I don't know why it says a regular schmo, but he's just a regular guy from our world, like from our, regular mundane world, who is invited and subsequently transported to another dimension. And I will say this series gets dark at times. Like his like isekai moment, technically, like when he gets transported over to this other dimension where the series take place, is actually kind of dark and unsettling. One where magic and miracles are commonplace. It's not all flowers and butterflies here. However, some 80 years ago, a great off-screen war between numerous magical orders nearly brought about the end of the world as we know it by depleting the world's heart, its sole source of magical energy. The catastrophe was narrowly averted, and an ironclad ban on magic was enacted in the city of Echo. Which is why this series is called the Labyrinth of Echo, because the city of Echo is where the story takes place. Which stands on top of the world's heart, which is basically this alternate world's this other dimension source of magic. And then to enforce the ban, an elite regiment of magic killers was formed to hunt down any rogue mage and exiled magisters of the disbanded orders who returned to Echo. As it turns out, Max was invited over because he has a rare capacity of true magic, one which doesn't strain the world's heart. So he has a rare talent for an alternate magic which kind of bypasses, the main source of magic in the world. As well as a number of nifty talents that make him a great addition to said regiment. Known as the Lesser Secret Investigative Force, or simply Secret Investigations. So he basically joins like a special force, which is a detective force, kind of, in the city. Despite the dark premise, the series is quite humorous and lighthearted most of the time, resulting in severe mood whiplashes whenever it should actually go south. Which this series does go super dark at times, but it's really good. It's really good. But yeah, so that's the starting premise, and I would describe this as a dark, unique, more urban fantasy, but urban fantasy in the context of this other dimension world. And this is the reason I love it, is that this alternate dimension world, even though the main character like comes from our Earth, the alternate dimension world is nothing like it. This is one of the most thoroughly unique world buildings that I have seen in fantasy literature, in the sense that everything from the currency to the way vehicles operate to the interior of buildings, how houses are laid out, how beds are laid out in a bedroom. Like, beds are inherently differently built. Bedrooms are inherently different. Houses are very different. Like, everything is super unique and built up in this world. Like, how restaurants functions, like, everything. And everything is also influenced by the fact that magic is commonplace in the world, and that they had this great magic war before the series happened, and now there is a ban on magic. And it's not a complete ban on magic. They have, like, they are allowed to use lesser magic in the series, but a lot of the cases has to do with people trying to bypass and use the forbidden, like, higher grades of magic that they aren't allowed to anymore. And a lot of things related to that. And the magic system is super unique. I don't know, everything about this is just so unique. And I would basically need to like read you guys the books to explain. Like drug classifications, yeah, they have like is it level 1 to 5 magic that was allowed, but like higher levels of magic aren't allowed. But as the series goes along, and this is parts that haven't been translated but actually read on the Tropepedia website, is that as the series goes along, like some forms of magic like start being allowed again, because the reason why there's a ban on magic is because the world's heart thing was almost depleted and things. So yeah, is there a logic behind the world building? It's logic, and it's very consistent. It's very consistent within itself. Like, I don't remember there being any inconsistencies. And since we're seeing this from the viewpoint of the titular character Max, he is from our world, so he's learning about these new things as we are learning about them. But yeah, and he's also kind of strange in itself. Like, he was like, you start out the book with this. It's not really a big spoiler, but he is like a type of person that never really fit into what we could call the regular human world. He could never hold down a steady job. Like, he kind of felt like he didn't fit in. But he ends up really fitting in this new dimension. It also has crime solving. I love detectives. I love crime solving. As I read in that little like summary, he basically is recruited to join a special investigation force. And he is recruited to be the nighttime, like the night shift replacement of a special investigator. So he becomes like the night shift, and then the other guy's the day shift. And a lot of the side characters are like the other members of the investigative force. You have some other side characters outside of that, but it's a cast that, you know, as the book develops, as the book goes onwards, like, you learn more about the side cast more and more, and some like chapters or cases, they will feature more heavily. The way the world develops, the way the main character develops, the way the plot develops, everything just feels, I don't know, so great. And also, the chapter style in this book, at least in the translated version, was 1 chapter equals 1 case. So you have some chapters that are shorter because the cases are short, but then also some chapters that are incredibly long because the cases that they're investigating is really long. So even the chapter structure of this book is really unique. So, I don't know, just stellarly good. Very, very good, very good. Yeah. Original title? No. The original title is just if one of you want to search up the book series in the original title. Good stopping points? Yeah, good stopping points, because that means you don't have to guess which chapter is good to stop on. If you're reading it and you want to read this entire case to conclusion, well, that's the 1 chapter. So you know when the chapter ends, that's when you can stop reading for them. So I actually really like it. It gives very natural, like, stopping points for your reading experience. Yeah. The night shift tends to have the most interesting people. Truly. And that is the case here as well. But yeah, so highly recommend. This is one of my favorite fantasy series books of all time. Probably maybe like the number one fantasy series. And I am beyond devastated that only 4 of them are translated. Like, literally, I want to like write the publishers and be like, hey, are you guys planning on translating it? Or like, who has the rights? Like, who do I need to message to like beg for this book to be like retranslated, and also for it to be like with this cover style. Like, oh god, they really like shot themselves in the foot by choosing this cover style. Honestly, like they should have gone with this. I don't know, maybe this is like only a newer style of covers. Maybe they got a reprint with this that happened after the translation, but this, yeah, it's like point me in the direction I have to beg.
Come on.
I will say though, even though there is an overarching plot in this that develops as things goes along, like it's just way more like intriguing stuff that happens for the overall world and for the overall characters. You can read this one and still get a satisfying conclusion to the cases that they're investigating. Like the individual cases gets completed. So I say, even though this isn't finished, Kamos, read this one. Read it. It's really good. Also, Rogue Pentalines, welcome back to the Kamo Squad. Love that you can have a fantasy backlog again. Yeah. So you're not going to be left on a cliffhanger, unlike the smaller cases that they were going through. So that is the one good part about the cliffhangers. I wanted to share in my pain. I want more people to read this so that more people can join me in messaging the publishers and being like, please keep on translating these. Or messaging the author. I wonder if she has an email address that it can be like, please translate the books. Unfortunately, it sounds like everything you're not looking for in a fantasy book. Everyone has different tastes, so that's completely understandable. It's just so freaking good, though. It's really good. That's my master plan. Yeah, my master plan is to get more people hooked on this series, so that more people will want to read it, and then more people will want to get it translated. You're only on board if they use the cool cover art? Yeah. They had to message the editors to translate them to English and then translate them to Spanish. Just all the languages. All of them. I think they got translated to... Did it get translated to German? I actually read the first one. I found the first one in my local library in Norwegian back in the day, which is how I found them, so... Yeah. Also, wait, which one is this? I do judge the BL, by the way. No! Thank you for the 5 coins. Arigato. Feel obligated to chill one series. Which role by Andrew Norton? I feel like I've heard of Andrew Norton, but I don't remember the series name. Kanna in the next Aerunia VC. Hey girls, have you heard of the Labyrinth of Echo? I mean, I'm not opposed to chilling it. The Western cover looks like the thumbnail of a show on Netflix. Yeah, I know. There's also another like Western pocket cover version that exists that has like a more cool drawn art style, but it's no match for this one. No match for this style. Yeah. I maybe just need to learn Russian. That is such a heavy time investment, Kamos. Just to read books, but yeah. Labyrinth of Echo, love it, amazing series. Yeah. Also, final slide. Honorable mentions. This is book series that either I don't remember them well enough to put them on my top 10, or I've only read like 1 or 2 books from the series, or I read all of them, but they're not like... I don't love them enough to put them on my top 10 in trade of any of the other stuff that's on the top 10. We have Eragon, because I have read the Inheritance cycle. I've read the Eragon book cycle. I enjoyed it, but not, again, enough to whip anything off the top 10. I also read the Golden Compass, like that entire trilogy. Windrider's Oath is like a random pocket fantasy book that I have like the physical copy of, that I think I bought on sale on a bookstore years ago, that I enjoyed and I read. The Way of Shadows trilogy is good. Artemis Fowl, I read like 4 or 5 books in that series when I was younger and I really enjoyed it. And then I heard it got an atrocious movie adaptation, so yeah, that's really unfortunate. But the book series is great. It's more of a young adult series though. The Lies of Loch Lamora. Amazing book. Amazing. Absolutely intriguing and amazing. But I've read only the 2 first books because that series is not complete. And it's a long time in between books, and I'm not going to revisit the Lies of Locke Lamora until it's complete because it's really like lies and deception style plot. The Hobbit is really good. I really like The Hobbit, but not enough to whip any of the other top 10s off the list. Jim Butcher, I read a couple of the Jim Butcher like Dresden Files books. Also really good, but I've only read a couple of them. And then we have The Tower of Ravens, which is the first of 3 books by Kate Forsyth, which probably a lot of you haven't heard about because it's a random fantasy series that I bought and I enjoyed. And it's also the book series that this one, the ones that taught me that the word Ken, like K-E-N, can mean no to no, because I read that book and I was like, why are they writing Ken so much? What does this mean? And then eventually I realized out of because of context that it was like, do you know? Do you Ken? And then this one, which I talked about before, which is Aerunia, the Unicorn Girl series, which I now have all in paperbacks by Anne McCaffrey and Margaret Ball. And I'm going to read it. This is like a fantasy sci-fi mix series. More sci-fi than fantasy, but I'm excited. So yeah, these are some of my honorable mentions. I probably have others. Ken is Scottish slang for no? Yeah. And I'm assuming the author is Scottish. Or at least she was inspired by that when she was writing, if she's not Scottish. But yeah, so these are my honorable mentions. You know Anne McCaffrey from Dragon Riders of Purin? Yeah. I didn't quite like those. I read one book in the series and it didn't click with me. But yeah. These are the ones I just wanted to put up here. I have this one, this one, this one, and this one as physical volumes. The others I do not. Just borrowed at my local library growing up and stuff. Good list. You want to check out some of these? Yeah. And then, there we go, camels! Have I read Battle Axe or The Wayfarer's Redemption? I have not. Now you can ask me about anything, camels. Though there is probably a lot of fantasy and sci-fi series books that I haven't read or I haven't heard about. Or they're on my own, like, I want to read in the future list. Good PowerPoint? Yeah. I think that one looked pretty good. I'm happy with the look of it. Having a physical collection of great books is not so nice. Yeah. Thoughts on Goosebumps? Oh, I liked them when I was younger. They had them in my local library. But somehow I always pick the first... Like, if you don't know Goosebumps, it's like the horror book series for young adults where you pick your route. It's like choose your own adventure kind of thing. I always end up dying. I pick every single option where you die before I finish it. So those books end up really being weird for me because I just die over and over again. Also, Dresnik, wow, welcome back to the Common Squad. What's my favorite magic system? Probably Labyrinth of Echo. Labyrinth of Echo is up there, if nothing else. What's my favorite archetype of characters? I like a lot of different archetypes. It kind of depends. Also depends on if it's a male or female main character, because I think I tend to prefer a little bit different character types. I love Che, the female character Che's journey in Shadows of the Apt. She has a very interesting journey in that series where her story goes through a lot of drastic, like she goes through a lot of drastic events and things that change her as a person. Did I read Jules Verne's books? I think I've read one of them, but I don't remember which. Yeah. Yeah, that's in those. Yeah, the Goosebumps ones, you can die or like get caught or stuff like that. How do I feel about people calling Dune a Star Wars clone? Even though Star Wars was inspired by Dune? Well, I feel like that's always going to be the case with things that get movie adaptations or game adaptations, where you have things like Star Wars that got obviously adapted first and then Dune coming in afterwards. A lot of people don't know the books, and I think that's totally okay. I'm not completely bothered by that. And I think it's just a natural consequence of things getting adapted to different medias at different times. It's kind of like you have had the Resident Evil game series that's had a lot of iterations, and then you recently got a new iteration of Alone in the Dark, which was a game that, like, back in the day, the original Alone in the Dark, I think, was one of the inspirations for Resident Evil, right? But if you've only known the modern games, then you're not necessarily going to know the history behind them. Have read the Leviathan series? I don't think so. Yeah. Have I read the Earthsea trilogy? Oh, I think I've watched... Didn't that one have a Ghibli movie? I think I watched the Ghibli movie like ages ago. Brief thoughts on the Discworld? Oh, Discworld was first on my list. If you want to hear my thoughts on Discworld, you can just zoom back on through the WOD, because that was the first on my top 10 list. I really like Discworld. Yeah. Same thing is happening with Hunger Games and the Battle Royale manga. Ah, yeah. Hunger Games, probably one of the most famous adaptations of the Battle Royale stuff. Yeah. Have you read any older pulp era novels? Characters like Conan or Tarzan? I have not, but I do know of them. I also know that the Conan books, a lot of them are in public domain, right? Which is pretty cool, so you can read them online. Have I interested in more hard science fiction like Asimov or Michael Crichton? I've read a couple of other more like hard sci-fi books, but the problem is I've forgotten what they're called, because they were random stuff that my local library had, and I would probably like remember if I reread the book, but they were like really random, more like standalone sci-fi books that I just borrowed and read at my local library. I really enjoy sci-fi though. I really enjoy sci-fi. Though a lot of the stuff that I've experienced of sci-fi are also things like games and more like mangas or things like that. Yeah. A lot of the Conan stories are public domain in Europe now. A few Tarzan novels are also public domain globally. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I haven't heard of the Bartimaeus books. I've read the first Bartimaeus book when I was in junior high school. Only the first one. Kingkiller Chronicles I did not read. Oh, Ranger Apprentice series. I've gotten that recommended by a lot of people, but I didn't read it because my local library didn't have it. I've read No Mouth and Ibis Scream. Isn't that a horror? Isn't that horror sci-fi more than anything? I've heard of it, but I've not read it, no. I'm interested in post-apocalyptic stuff like Metro 2033. I actually read some like online like sci-fi fantasy discussions that one of them like was discussing Metro 2033, which was intriguing, but I don't know if it's my type of novel. If I know Andy Weir, what did he write? I need to check the check the book list sometimes. Oh, The Martian. Oh, Project Hail Mary. I don't think I've read any of his stuff, no. The Metro series also has very good games. Yeah, and there's an upcoming Metro game. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Oh, I have not read it, but there's an anime of that I've always wanted to watch. Yeah. Water. Yeah. I read mostly, like, the stuff I read growing up was stuff my local library had, and then I read, like, miscellaneous stuff since then. You love the Legend of Galactic Heroes anime? Consistent 10 out of 10 every episode? Oh, that's great to hear. The original 80s OVA was one of your favorites, but it's long. Yeah, the Legend of the Galactic Heroes, if you haven't seen it, it's like a old-time, but long anime. But older now. I haven't read any of the Warhammer-related books, no. Yeah. But I've heard a lot of it is good. Like, it's like Warhammer has a lot of books. I don't necessarily read books from game series that I like. It has to be like the books themselves that appeal to me. I would love to read something focused on the Necrons though, because the Necrons are by far my favorite faction in Warhammer. Oh, I haven't read Brandon Sanderson's books, but I have the Mistborn series in paperbacks. I just haven't read it yet, but it's on my bookshelf. You're astonished how many books in this list you were familiar with? Probably part of that is because some of them I read at my local library, and my local library probably stocked up with stuff that was more popular. Have I read the Ring series? No, again, I don't consume much horror. I'm scared of horror, Camels. I'm a scaredy cat. Have I read any classic literature or older books in general? Or are you asking about like non-fantasy, non-sci-fi? If so, I don't read much outside of that. Except for what I got forced to read at school. I read part of the Odyssey because we were forced to read it in Norwegian class. But it's not fun when you're forced to read it. Oh, I have also read part of the Dante's Divine Comedy in Norwegian because I got forced to. I've read Rick Riordan. Oh, I've actually read quite a bit of the first of the what's the Greek Rick Riordan books. The first series I read. And then I kind of fell off because I lost interest. But it was good. It was good. Only part? Yeah, my Norwegian class wasn't going to force us to read the entirety of the Odyssey and the Dante's Divine Comedy. Percy Jackson, yes. I read the first, like, Percy Jackson thingy. Remember sending me Mara about Necron books? Yeah, I think I remember getting that, but I haven't had time to read much books, Camels. Yeah. There's a science fiction horror novel. Camels, I'm probably not going to read science fiction horror stuff. It's like, it's too grim for me. I do like it. Okay, so I play some horror games with you guys. And I've watched some, like, more like Ghost Hunt, which is a horror anime. Like, I don't mind, like, horror animes. But when it comes to written media, I don't like horror. Because it's too grim for me. Like, I like there to be some sort of happily ever after. And I know that might be, like... Well, I read Narnia. I read 2 volumes of Narnia back in the day when I was younger. I like there to be some sort of happily ever after. It might be cowardly of me, but I don't know. I just like things to end well for the main characters, and in horror, it almost never does. At least in the video games, when you play horror, you feel like you have maybe an impact on the ending, but in a book series, you would just be along for the ride. And I don't like it when it ends very grim. Like, if any of you have read the Animorph series, I've read the entirety of Animorphs, and that one ended so darkly. And for something that I started reading in elementary school and, like, finished around junior high school or something, that was like, I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I read this entire thing for things to just end really grimly. And if you haven't read the ending of it, it's like, wow. Wow, it's dark. For a series for young adults, it ended really darkly. Let me try and think. Not even bittersweet? No, Animorphs did not end bittersweet. Animorphs was just war trauma for kids. Yeah, that's a good description. Animorphs is just war trauma for kids. And then it ends in the middle of war trauma. Just more war trauma. Ends mid-war trauma. Feels like it ended on a cliffhanger. Yeah. We need the Animorphs cover of me turning into duck. That would be so cursed. Animorphs covers were always cursed. Animorphs was everywhere back in the day and never heard about the ending though. Okay, should I explain the ending? I only remember this vaguely. But yeah, I think I've read almost all of the 54 Animorphs books. So Animorphs is a franchise where basically a bunch of kids... because of alien technology, this is an older series, I guess I could spoil it. Because of alien technology, they gain the power to turn into animals. And they learn about the fact that the Earth is currently under mid-invasion from a little, like, slug-like alien race that basically crawls into the ears of people and hijacks their brain and like takes control, but the people are often still sentient, like knowing underneath. So they start trying to fight against the alien invasion. And there's other aliens involved, but that's like the main aliens that are trying to take over humanity. And there's a lot of stuff like some of their family members ending up being taken over, and like these like slug-like aliens, like every X amount of days, they have to leave the human host to like bathe in giant slug pools to like revitalize their body. So like in that time, the humans would be like, the human host bodies would be trapped in cages to keep them from escaping and stuff like that. Like there's a lot that happens in this. It's 54 books. And there's also a limitation on their animal transformation powers. If they stay, I think it was 1 hour or something, or maybe longer, but if they stay too long transformed as an animal, they'll stay as that animal forever. And one of the characters, because of stuff that happens, ends up staying in a bird morph. This was a series for children, and this is for children. This was in the children's section of my local library. One of the kids ends up being in a bird morph too long and gets stuck a bird for the rest of the series. Or no, I think he gets... Does he get the remorph? Yeah, I think he gets the ability to transform from a bird to other stuff in the future of the series, but he will still had like the bird as his main body then. But basically, okay, so this is basically why I said it ends very grimly, and was one of my first encounters with like a really like dark ending to a book series. At the end, it ends mid-war. At least 1 or 2 of the kids have died at the end of the series. And another one of them is like really super like disillusioned and is like basically like flying off in like a suicide mission in a space war in a spaceship or something. Another, it's just like everyone just ends in a bad place. I don't remember what happens exactly with everyone, but just everyone just ends in a bad place for the main characters, kind of. There was a rather unusual amount of dismemberment. Yeah, probably. I feel like I remember there being dismemberment as well. Are we sure this is a kid story? This is a kid story. Yeah. It's really dark though. That's what war does. Oh yeah, it's Rachel that goes on the kamikaze mission. Well, what happened with Jake though? Something happened with Jake. There was one of them like a part cyborg at the end or something. It's really dark. It's really dark, Camus. The premise sounds like such a thing that's appealing to kids. And I read this as a kid. I read this in elementary and junior high. Most of it in elementary school. It sounds like a Gundam series. It's dark. It's dark. One of the kids gets traumatized after he commits a war crime. Oh yeah, wasn't that the one of them like eradicated a whole bunch of aliens, and then he got like traumatized afterwards. But yeah, I feel like that happened to one of them. He got like mega traumatized. And these were like kids. You gotta remember the main characters are kids because again, kids novels, like not kids, but like teenager kids. I think. I hope. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Pretty sure everyone, including the reader, gets traumatized. Yeah. Remember one book where one of the characters get cut in half as a starfish, then when he tries to morph back, both halves become full hymns? Ah, yeah, that one, the starfish one. Yeah. Yeah, I think this one got some media adaptations, but I've never seen any of them. They transform into a bunch of stuff as well. They transform into the aliens, like different alien races, and different aliens. Like some aliens are allies, and you have like this slug alien race that mostly are bad guys, and then some humans join the slug aliens and are like, oh, I'm a voluntary host. I'm like fine with the alien slugs taking over the Earth. What can you even do in a starfish form? I mean, hide? Probably? Maybe? Yeah. Oh, there's some romance in this, but one of the Wait, did the bird guy end up getting killed? Because I feel like that's why Rachel kamikazed. One of the girls likes the guy that gets turned into a bird permanently. And that guy that turned into a bird, I feel like ends up dying towards the end of the story, and that's why she like hates some of the other main characters now, because she blames them and she goes in like her kamikaze word thing. It's I'm not exaggerating when I said this series like went like really dark, and then I didn't realize I was reading the final novel when I was reading the final novel, because it ended really darkly and like mid kamikaze mission, and I was like, oh, where's the next book? And then I was like, wait, this is the final book. And I was like, what do you mean this is the final book? You're a Team Slug? Wow. At the end, you do feel like it's like, did the kids even win here? I feel like everyone just lost. Yeah. You did hear a new TV adaptation is in the works? Are they going to traumatize a new generation of kids? I feel like the Animorphs isn't like a popular series anymore. Do they need to adapt it so new kids can get traumatized? Well, Animorphs is a children's book series that was made by therapists to sell more therapy, maybe. This isn't, funnily enough, this isn't top 10 worst books. I hate the ending, but I actually remember enjoying the series. I don't know if I would enjoy it as a reread, because the books are really short, and it was writing-wise probably aimed at younger readers, but I remember enjoying it, reading it. I just hate the ending. Doesn't necessarily negate all the fun of reading the books, though. I think kids think things kids see on social media is way worse for them. Oh, possibly. Yeah. Water. But yeah, so that was Animorphs. Any other book-related questions, Kamos, now that we're all re-traumatized? Did you read Del Toro Quest? I did not. Read Bull books? No. There's a lot of book series I've heard about, but I've never read them. You'll take Animorphs over the brain rots kids see these days? Me too. Never ending story. I watched a movie. I watched the old movie, which was actually kind of dark. I never read the book. Read steampunk novels? I don't know. I don't know. That's my answer. Any Japanese light novels? I mostly like the Chinese one, the occasional Korean. The Japanese light novels, I like watching them more as animes or reading them as mangas. A lot of them go very like cutesy-feely with romance or harems, which I don't like. So finding ones without a heavy romance focus is easier in the Chinese light novels. You read The Secrets of Immortal Nicholas Flamel? I have not. Oh, Dragonlance? I haven't read either. Yeah. I think my library had like an eclectic selection of books. Have you heard of Dungeon Crawler? Is that a book series? If so, no. You found light novels to be all over the place in terms of quality? Oh, definitely. Some I can't read. This is also a thing, Kamos. Some things like Animorphs, I don't know if I would enjoy it on a reread. Because my standard for what I can tolerate in writing quality has skyrocketed through the years. I also read a lot of fan fictions. Like if you were to summarize the amount of fan fictions that I have read in like books, it would probably... I have read a lot of books, Kamos. But staggeringly, I have read a lot of fan fiction. It's basically like after junior high school, in my university years, I consumed so much fan fiction in my free time, and like since then as well. Though I stopped like a little bit like around VTubing because VTubing busy. But if you were to like compare them pages to pages and like include everything that I read, fanfictions probably comprises 95% of it. word-wise. And that's including every, like, thing that I've read for school or university, like all the non-fiction literature. Probably a staggering 95%. Did I read any Darren Shan books? Oh, I did! I enjoyed them. The ones I read. That's a lot, yeah. Because I think if I were to tally it up, it would be millions of pages. Like it really millions. And I think it's because I've consumed so much of that my standard for writing quality has gone up. Because I remember, this is years ago. Years ago, I went back and tried rereading one of the earliest fanfictions that I read, and the writing quality was like trash. I was like, how could I have read this? So nowadays I'm super picky, and this is not just fanfiction. Regular novels as well has to meet a certain degree of writing quality standard, or the plot has to be really interesting for me to wrote. No, I've never wrote. I wish I had the abilities to write fanfiction. Red comes red. Well, yeah, the writing quality on that one, like it was trash in my eyes, even though I liked the plot. Younger me didn't develop standards yet. Yeah. Reading the R.A. Salvatore books. Wait, that sounds familiar. Let me Google. Some of them I just need to like see the book covers. Books. George R.R. Martin books. I tried reading one of them. I don't know if I've read this. Maybe like a single book of... Maybe a single book of this R.A. Salvatore. George R.R. Martin, though, I tried reading one of them. I had to stop after a couple of chapters. I couldn't. I was like, I cannot. And now, knowing that you're like perpetually stuck on cliffhangers for that, I'm just like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Did we read Beowulf in school? No, we did not read Beowulf in school. Though I have read a couple of, like... I read a fantasy Nordic mythology inspired series in Norwegian by like a Norwegian author back in the day that I actually wrote a book report on in high school. Yeah. So I read some Norwegian stuff. And there was also a Danish one. There was a Danish series about a guy who ends up in hell. Like, he accidentally, like, died in place of another kid's and ends up in hell when he wasn't supposed to die. And he becomes, like, the apprentice of, like, demon apprentice, basically, as a human. It's been almost 20 years since the last Song of Ice and Fire book got published. Yeah. Any Norwegian sci-fi fantasy authors I like? Oh god, I'm trying to remember... What was that? Norwegian... Nordic... Inspired... Fantasy... book. God, I'm trying to remember what that one was, but... I don't know. I would have to like look into that in depth because it was in Norwegian, which makes it harder to find. Been reading the Berserk manga series and dreading the fact that it doesn't have an ending. Yeah, but that one someone picked up, I think. So yeah. Countess Inferno, I've only read parts that I was forced to read in school. Let me see. I'm trying to... look for Norwegian fantasy. And it's like the second you start delving over to Norwegian literature versus English, it's so much harder to find stuff. Have you seen R.R. Martin versus R.R. Tolkien in Epic Rap Battles of History? I have not. Bum, 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 bum. Miura's best friend is writing Berserk now, and his former assistant staff is illustrating. Yeah. Maybe it won't be exactly the same as it would have been, but... it's something. Norway wants to hide his literature. Not necessarily hiding as much as just less stuff available online. And then the second, like, literally I, like, Google Norwegian fantasy, go on a Norwegian bookstore, and it's so much English. Let me see. Yeah, this is a Norwegian bookstore, Kamos. This is, like, ark.no, like, ark means paper. It's one of the biggest bookstores in Norway. In their fantasy section, Kamos, there is 15,294 books available in English language. And then 567 available in Norwegian. That should tell you how little we translate here. Almost nothing gets translated because it's kind of just assumption that everyone can read English. And I feel like a lot of people that probably nowadays, like Norwegian writers that are writing, probably get their stuff translated to English as well. But that is staggering. Staggering in favor. Yeah, one of the Norwegian titles I'm seeing here is The Hobbit, because The Hobbit has obviously been translated since it's so popular. Really want you to use your English education? Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is translated here. I'm just looking through this list there. And most of the things on the Norwegian language list is just random. I think this is The Witcher translated to English, and then to Norwegian I'm looking at here. Haruki Murakami book translated to Norwegian under the fantasy section. Oh, George R.R. Martin in one of his books in Norwegian. So it's like most of the stuff here isn't even Norwegian author stuff, fantasy in Norwegian. It's just like the most popular English stuff translated over to Norwegian. Yeah, Outlander, the Outlander series is here. More George R.R. Martin. More Tolkien, more different versions of Tolkien. Like, more different versions of Hobbit. Multiple the different translations of Hobbit. On the same list. The Raven Rings or Vardari? I don't think so. The Raven Rings. Like, this was something I wrote a report on in... It could be... No, it's not this. I wrote a report on it in high school, not junior high school, high school. And I was in high school at the early 2010s. Was that when I was in high school? Mid 2010s? Something. Is there a list here of like Norwegian author books? It's trying to find the old ones here, but it's pretty recent, yeah. I feel like I was like, could I recognize the cover? But the problem with the series I read being like Nordic mythology inspired is that a lot of stuff are Nordic mythology inspired. That's the bad part. Yeah, I'm just skimming through this, and it's mostly just English stuff translated over to Norwegian that's on this list. Norwegian fantasy by Norwegian authors. Oh, there was like a young adult series called Phenomena. That one I remember reading. That one was like an elf series. And it's more for kids than young adults. Really short books. Oh, that one had a new book in 2018. I think I've only read like the first 3 ones. They were published in the early 2000s. Oh wait, this one. This could be... Is this one? No, it's not this one. I found something that was promising, but I was like, I don't think it's this. Oh, if only I could remember. But I don't. I don't remember. Which is the bad part. Norwegian Nordic fantasy. Wait, this one? Okay, I'm just going to look at the final series. And then I'm just going to give up, Cavos. I'm going to give up. Ugh. No, it's definitely not this. I forgot it's a ton of series too. Yeah. Pain. This is like a dark one, this one. Okay, I'll do one more Google attempt. And I don't have my book report anymore because I threw that out. I didn't like keeping like old school stuff for when I was in school, like when you got like a test back or something like that. I would just be like, trash it. In the trash it goes. After I got my grade, just in the trash. Don't want to read it again. Let's see. It bothers me that I can't remember. I will say the main character was a guy. I remember the main character in this one being a guy. And at some point, he got his arm chopped off, I think. Or he had to chop his own arm off. Something like that. Just random arm chop off? Yeah. Saw? It's not Saw. It's not such an odd thing to remember. But it's... If someone gets their arm chopped off in a novel, Camels, you remember. You remember more vividly. Exactly, it's memorable, Camels. It's not weird to remember that. It's very memorable. And I think he had to do it himself. I think it was like... Yeah, I did ask like the Google AI. Google AI did not have answers. But I swear this one I remember, it was like a guy who... Okay, this is, again, didn't read it since high school. It's like 15 years ago. It was like a guy who I think was a police officer or something like that in like modern Norway. And I don't remember how, but it got like dragged into Nordic mythology world. I don't remember if he got isekai or something. I know I'm saying isekai, but it wasn't called isekai. But it was like something like that. And basically got dragged into like Nordic mythology type stuff. And like Ragnarok was like happening throughout the trilogy. And at some point, I think his arm got injured and he had to chop it off to prevent it from rotting. Or something happened that his arm got chopped off, or he chopped it off to prevent it from rotting. Something like that. It's been so long. Yeah. Talking about Kratos from God of War? No, not Kratos. It's not Kratos, Cobbles! Definitely not Kratos. I remember that I think the same author also had a post-apocalyptic series that was super trippy, like a trilogy that I also read. Was by chance eaten by a wolf? I don't think so. Oh, Hiccup. Hiccup almost. It was pretty cool to see Faced on the list. Used to read Magician as a kid. Oh, this was an old RPG based on a series. Yeah, Raymond A. Faced was a really solid writer. I remember liking all of his books that I read. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure this one didn't get adapted into a TV show or anything. You definitely remember that exact situation, but from an anime. I mean, it's a popular trope. Are there any books that I had to read in school that I ended up liking? Oh, in university that happened with a book genre that I didn't really like. So you guys know what's often called like popular fiction. Like I know a lot of like fantasy and sci-fi books are like hugely popular, but when I say popular fiction, I'm thinking of more like the real life, like real world scenario, like one-off books, like not trilogies, but like popular fiction type, like grounded in reality books. I don't remember what it was called, but for university we had to read a popular fiction book for like, I think it was an optional class I had or something. It was like more like of a for fun class than important class. So it had a little bit of like random reading like that. Not like the Da Vinci Code. This one was more like based in people's stories. So it was about God, what was it? I think it was about Chinese Americans or Japanese Americans living in the US, like the main character living in the US during the time like post World War II or something like that, where they were persecuted even though like they hadn't done anything. It was like coming of age novel as well. Like in the first chapters the character was really young, and like towards the end you have the character as old and stuff. So it was like very like character went through a lot of traumatic stuff. And then there was like some, you know, reunion type stuff with a childhood love at the end and things like that. And classic formula, yeah, like very like classic formula, popular fiction. And I was sobbing my eyes out. Would I reread it? No. Would I go and search out more of that type of literature? No, because it's not my preferred reading. But it was a good book, and it sure did move me emotionally, because I was reading it at home during summer vacation to read it before the school year started. And my mom went out on the porch while I was reading it, and she was like, "Why are you sobbing?" And I was like, "Because of the book." And I was like, "Why are you continuing to read it?" And I was like, "Because it's good." So I was just like reading through the tears towards the end of it. So yeah, that one was good. On the flip side, I've had to read some horrendous stuff for school as well. That was one of the few good things. But yeah, so it was good. Definitely would not read again. Would not seek out literature, but it brought out the emotions, and I'm a crybaby. I cry easily. Oh, thank you for the headpats. Oh, thank you for the headpats, Camus. School is emotional torture. I mean, it depends on which class it is. I liked some classes more than others in high school and university. For example, in high school, I tended to like the creative ones, like the art classes, and tended to dislike stuff like Norwegian that was mostly boring. And I disliked history and social studies in high school, which I hate because I usually love history as a subject, but I had the worst teacher. Notoriously a bad teacher in the university I got stuck with for my history and social studies classes in high school. I talked about this before, but he was literally incompetent. And would talk about his summer vacation with his wife and the type of shawls that she was using while standing in line for the Vatican. instead of actually teaching us. So you felt woefully unprepared for all the tests because it felt like most of the time he was just yapping about his everyday life or quizzing people and being like, I can guess where all you guys' last names come from. And then when it came to my last name, guessed completely wrongly because I know the origin. And when I corrected him, he was like, no, that's not where it comes from. So yeah. Yeah. What is a brag instead of teach? Yeah, exactly. That type of person. Very much that type of person. And yeah, hated him. Hated his classes because I actually wanted to learn. The students in my class that liked him as a teacher was only the ones that wanted to goof off and that didn't really pay attention to class at all, because they got to mega goof off in those classes. You would have snapped? Yeah, I went to the administration at high school. The only time I've ever sought out the high school administration ever was to talk to someone and asked if I could switch away from his classes. But unluckily for me, there wasn't any social studies or history classes happening at the same time, like at the same time slots. I wasn't able. I was literally crying when I got told no because it was so frustrating. This might seem stupid, but genuinely, I wanted to learn in high school, and like meeting a roadblock like that where you feel like your teacher is like literally hindering your learning, and then you know, gathering up the courage. I wasn't like brave or like outspoken at all in high school. Like that started happening to me a little bit more in university, that I got more confident like speaking with speaking with people in like customer service or like public speaking or things like that. I was terrified when I like went to talk to the high school administration people. So I like was crying when I was leaving there, and they had like zero sympathy. They were like, yeah, sorry, can't help you. And I was like, okay, I guess I just deal with it then. It's perfectly understandable. Yeah, it's you had a similar experience. I'm justified. Thank you. I will say also, my older sister went to the same high school, and she got stuck with him in one of her classes. And she also had a really bad time. I don't remember if she was able to switch out or not, but yeah, it's just horrendous. I will say the only good thing I remember, I don't know if I told you guys this, but the only good thing I remember in relation to that teacher is that that teacher was in his 50s at the time. I think he was in his 50s, and he looked like he was in his 50s. And then we also had a Norwegian teacher during the same year. This was like third year of high school. We had a Norwegian teacher during the same year. And obviously like the teachers knew each other. And at one point, like this was like over halfway out in the final year or something, we learned our Norwegian teacher's age. Like we learned that they were approximately the same age. And the entire class very audibly went like, no way! I was like, that's true? Because our Norwegian teacher looked like he was like mid-40s at most. He was also bald, which probably helped, so you couldn't see like any graying hair. But compared to that history social sciences teacher, he looked so young. Like you know, 40s versus 50s is huge jump. Like imagine like late 50s versus early 40s. Like that was the age gap they had between. So everyone was like, oh, you look so young. Obviously, I didn't do that to the social sciences history teacher's face because this was in a Norwegian class when we learned it, but that was so funny to me in hindsight. I just hated that social studies history teacher so much. So awful. Awful teacher. I've had like uninteresting teachers, but that still teach you the stuff. Like that's fine. Like not every teacher has to have a lot of charisma or a lot of like gravitas or stuff like that. I had a lot of boring teachers in university in particular, but as long as they teach you the stuff, I'm happy. Even though it becomes harder to pay attention when you feel like you want to fall asleep, at least you know they're teaching. That one guy, no, he was doing some kind of like bragging class. Glad they only ever had one genuinely bad teacher, and he was in university. Your physics 2 professor was awful. Most of the tests got curved so that anything around a 68, 70 got an A. Yeah. Do we have funny nicknames for our teachers? No. In Norway, you usually just call your teachers by first name. Like no like Mrs. Smith or Mr. Smith or anything like that. It's always just first name. And that's like from your quote unquote teachers from kindergarten all the way up to university. It's first name all the way. So I think for that reason, nicknames probably are pretty uncommon. I don't remember at any stage any of the teachers having any nicknames. Grading on a curve is weird. Yeah, universities in Norway grade on a curve, so a very small percentage of the class gets an A. It's like usually 5% or less of a class gets an A. Maybe up to 10%, but I've never seen like over 10% of a class get an A on something. The chemistry teacher in university was terrible. He'd always go, "I've been doing this for a long time," when you complained. Wow. There's always this professor after high school for you, no names. Ah, professor. Yeah, in Norway it's very much like first name only. Also in the workforce usually. Usually also in the workforce. You did have one professor you called the Hammer. Cool guy. That does seem like a cooler nickname. The only time I remember students having nicknames for anything, it wasn't really like school related, but I remember students in high school talking about a notorious hard grader at driver's ed. Like not like related to the school, but like where you take like the state run like driver's exam if you're taking your driver's license. And apparently in the area where I went to high school, there was a lady, I think, who was notorious for failing people. So they called her strykjerne, which is Norwegian for, you know, like flat. What do you call like the iron? Is it just an iron used to iron your clothes? You know, they called her the Norwegian name for that because to fail someone in Norwegian, like if you fail something, it's called stryke. Which ostryke, like that's synonymous with to iron. So it means to iron, but it also means to fail an exam. So strykjerne, it's like the iron, like it implies she's very efficient in her failing of people. Did I get to experience her? No, I moved away. I didn't take my driver's ed that place. I took my driver's ed and like driver's lessons in university, which was in Oslo, like the capital. So I took it there, and I got luckily a really nice person. Got a really nice and chill person, laid back person for my driver's exam, which was nice. And I passed. I had a Finnish teacher whose nickname was the jail guard. Whoa, that sounds terrifying. Yeah, so driver's ed was people was really concerned about that because it's important, like it's expensive and also important. But if you fail, you have to pay a lot of money to retake things. Versus if you fail something in school, worst case scenario, you have to retake a test, and that usually doesn't cost anything. If you fail too many times, you might have to retake a subject, and that's more costly, but usually you can avoid that. Luckily, you didn't need to have a driver instructor to get in your car. You just drove around the parking lot while they watched. Whoa. That would never happen here. Here the driver instructor has to be in the car with you, and they have to have like those cars that have the extra pedals on the passenger side, so the driver's instructor can like take over the driving if they need to. Yeah. Now we're not talking about book stuff, Kamos. It's book day today. It's International Book Day. Any more book-related questions before we round off? I think I'll round off at around the 3-hour mark today. I can feel my voice. I've done a lot of yapping, and tomorrow we're doing a chatting only stream, which I have already like how many points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have a 9-point list of things since yesterday. Yesterday and today, I've compiled a 9-point list of things I want to talk about. Everything from game trailers to subjects like I talked to my sister, to Laundry Mountain, to Cats, to Heroes of the Storm, to Sanrio characters. I don't. This is stuff we'll talk about tomorrow. I already thought about writing a novel myself. I once tried to write a fan fiction, and I wrote the whopping 2 lines before I found out that I don't have the patience for writing. So yeah. I never got further. The only thing I've written that's longer than 2 lines has been like mandatory stuff for school. My grandmother thought you have to drive in a graveyard. Well, if you drove over someone, they were likely already dead. How are the libraries in Norwegian elementary schools? So Norwegian schools often don't have libraries, or like if they have libraries, they're extremely small, because Norwegian public libraries are very good, and they're funded by the municipalities and stuff. So usually, the schools and stuff will use the public libraries. High schools usually have their own little library, but it's mostly non-fiction, and university also has libraries, but again, a lot of non-fiction. Oh, I don't remember what I wanted to write a fanfiction about. I just remember trying to write and just being like, yeah, this is not for me. Genuinely, Camus, I couldn't tell you even if I wanted to, because I can't remember. I just know that I had a realization that writing is not for me. Which is probably why I have such a hard time writing scripts for the Twin ASMRs, and why I'm procrastinating so heavily on it. You're a prolific writer of Yuri fanfics stories 20-something years ago, but you just don't have time for it these days. Big props to you though, managing to do creative writing. One day, no. The writing isn't for me, Camus. I'm too impatient for it. What's my favorite book? I have talked about 10 of my favorite books today, so you could skip back through my PowerPoint. Many slides, many PowerPoints. Oh, you meant the ASMR script? Yeah, one day on the ASMR script. I've been trying to write, but it's definitely hard. Yeah, it's very hard. You read poems? Not really. I'm not a big fan of poetry. My favorite form of poetry is in the form of songs. Like, I really, really like poetry or more poetic song lyrics. But for me, it has to have the musical aspect to it. It has to have the music in it. And then I really like poems, but I don't like just poems. Like I can read a poem and be like, oh, that's good, but it's not something I seek out for the enjoyment of reading. Favorite type of bookmark? Just any bookmark. I will throw anything from just a thread to a piece of paper to a post-it note into something. Like, well laminated and like pretty bookmarks are cool, but anything will do when you need a bookmark. Have I ever regretted reading a book like it wasn't worth the time? Probably a couple, but I feel like I forget them because I don't let it occupy my brain space. You missed everything? I mean, the VOD will be there at least. But I feel like most books that I read, I don't regret reading. Oh, yeah, the school assignment books. Oh god, I wasn't thinking of those. I was thinking of books that I picked to read. If you count the books that I was forced to read in school, then so many. The top of which is probably the Knut Hamsun books. If I'm thinking of like a famous author that I read books of that I regret. We had to read Hunger, or Sult, as it's called in Norwegian. We had to read the Norwegian version of Hunger by Knut Hamsun, which is like was it that one that won the Nobel Literary Prize a year? I think I read that one. I read a couple of other like Nobel Prize winning authors, like either their entire books or like excerpts of their books in Norwegian, and regretted every single one of them. But it was like forced reading by the school. The amount of Dutch books you had to read with main characters that are writers is painful. Yeah. Most of your compulsory reading in school is pretty decent. Oh, you're pretty lucky then. As you know, Nordic TV shows are often pretty depressing, right? I feel like that probably stems from the fact that a lot of our classical reading, or a lot of our classical literature, which is a lot of what they make you read in school, is also pretty depressing. I've read depressing poems, I've read depressing post-modern novellas, depressing Hunger by Knut Hamsun, which is like this one guy just walking around in the city doing an internal monologue while he's starving. And it's just really a lot of depression, okay? I had to read the matchstick girl story in the region as well, and some other stuff that's also depressing. I feel like every single time they could give us a depressing story, they were like, here, read this, enjoy. Yeah. You don't think the Nobel Prizes are awarded for specific stories? The author in general gets them? Oh, that would make sense. I thought it was books, but I could be wrong. Same here, depressing books and depressing movies. Even the comedies have a sad undertone. Yeah. I mean, there is some non-depressing stuff, but just a lot of depression. It must be all the darkness we get up here. You know? Just loading it all into the literature. They had you read Frankenstein in junior high school? Oh, I wish we got to read that instead. I think some of my favorite stuff that we read was actually like the Dante's Inferno excerpts, like outtakes and stuff. Oh, it says it was growth of soil that secured the Nobel Prize for Knut Hamsun. Ah, I see. Not hunger. Hunger is the one that they often talk about in Norway, though, I feel like, for some reason. Yeah. So stitching. Also, Camels, I have put up the rating rooms for the rest of the week. I took a long time making them, so I'm sorry that you guys spent so long without waiting rooms. I hate not having waiting rooms up. It's really depressing, and I was like, ugh, so stressed out about it. But yesterday I finally sat down and made all my thumbnails, which is why I said, like, yesterday I didn't get a lot of rest time done because I was doing a lot of other stuff, which we'll talk about tomorrow. Oh wait, let me write down another point on my list. We'll talk about what I did on my rest day tomorrow. Quote-unquote rest day. You miss Kanna presence on your YouTube? Yeah, there always needs to be Kanna waiting rooms. Always needs to be waiting rooms. Oh, Warrior Cats! I never read Warrior Cats, Luffy! My local library never had it growing up, so I never read it. But also, Luffy, hi, thank you for the raid. I hope you had a nice stream. I am ending my stream soon because I've talked for 3 hours, but this was my top 10. Should I skim through my top 10? I had like 3 slides for all of them because I like gradually reveal the information. So my top 10, for those of you that are dropping out, so hi, I'm Kanna. My top 10 was this is again book series that I have read. On Scriptlord, thank you for gifting a Commons Club membership to Luffy. It was the Discworld series, the Black Magician trilogy, Dune, the first book only. You watched the first Dune movie? You gotta read the book, Luffy. It's International Book Day today. Shadows of the Apt by Adrian Tchaikovsky. The Empire trilogy, part of the Rift War cycle by Rimini Feist and Janny Wirtz. The Tomb Raider series by Naomi Novik. Dragon Jousters by Mercedes Lackey. Vyborn and Griffin by Jordan L. Hawk. Codex Alera by Jim Butcher, which is the series was made by Adair with the prompt the Lost Roman Legion and Pokemon, because the dare was to make a good book series out of bad/cheesy tropes, and it is a good book series. And then Labyrinth of Echo, which, please translate this. Publishers, author, if the author or the publishers are watching this, please translate the entire series. Please translate it so I can read it. Oh my god, it's so good. Only the first 4 are translated. Wait, I think Laffy actually, if you don't know, Laffy is German. I think this one was translated, the first 4 books, to English and German? Or it's another book series I'm thinking of. But yeah, this one is just good. This is really good. Real good. But why is the only part of it translated? Why only 4 out of 8/24 books? Ugh. Did Dune end up being the only sci-fi book on the whole list? I had sci-fi books here on my honorable mention with Arcorna. Eragon, your favorite book series? Yeah, it's in honorable mentions. It's in honorable mentions. I've read the entirety of it. And that movie was a travesty. It was a travesty. They couldn't even dye. Did I read the new one? No, I did not. They couldn't even dye the female character's hair the right color. Like, why? Why? The hair color and the eye color should be so easy to get in the movie, but no. It drives me up the wall. I know there's other bad things about that movie, but the fact that they couldn't even be bothered to do the right hair colors for the track. She was an elf with round ears. Yeah, they couldn't even give her pointy ears. Like, the fact they couldn't even get to be bothered to do the bare minimum. Yeah. They did their best. They did not do their best. You could have bought a cheap wig. If they didn't want to dye the hair, you could have done a cheap wig or something. Ugh. Have you found any sci-fi plus fantasy books? Oh, Aerunia. Aerunia is very, like, sci-fi with a fantasy edge to it. This one. Because the main girl is a unicorn girl, so... Yeah. Cheap wig with colored contact lenses, yeah. It's one of the, like, my pet peeves, like, movie book-wise, just drives me insane. The existence of the Eragon movie. Yeah, no. If they're going to adapt something, you better at least put in some effort, okay? If it's a bad adaptation, it's like, okay, at least they tried. If they made an effort. If you don't even make an effort, it's like, just give the rights to someone else. Yeah. And now they're adapting some scary stuff nowadays. They're adapting Sekiro, they're adapting Bloodborne. They're doing like a Western Gundam movie or something. They're doing a lot of scary adaptations. You can tell Eragon movie was bad even as a kid. Yeah, me too. We didn't have money for effort. They could have some money for effort. They should take some money for effort. Could literally say that to every modern adaptation nowadays. I mean, there's some good adaptations, like the One Piece. One Piece is showing that you can do a good adaptation out of an anime, which is crazy. You'll believe that Gundam movie releases when you see it. Oh yeah, the Elden Ring movie as well. That's gonna be trippy. A new Goofy Street Fighter movie is coming. Did you see a clip from the Elden Ring movie of people throwing stuff at Dung Eater? I have not. But I also want to go into those unspoiled if I'm going to watch it. You'll watch the VOD you've been meaning to read again? Yeah, and this is the perfect time to pick something to read because it's International Book Day. You know, in the spirit of the... It's not a holiday, but in the spirit of the day. In the spirit of the day. That's the loss of my water. Still waiting for Henry Cavill's Warhammer live-action series. A Necron Warhammer series. That would be cool. But they probably wouldn't do that. They would do the Imperium of Man, probably. Imperium of Man. Also, Kamos, I can show you before I end, because I already finished it. I can show you the schedule for next week. Did I find that doing book reports and overanalyzing symbolism books sap the fun out of them? Not really, because you would do a book report after you read them, so... And also I didn't have to do too many book reports in school, so... Let me show you this week's schedule to refresh you first on what's happening for the rest of this week. I also made my schedule yesterday. I did so much stuff yesterday. But yeah, this week... Obviously, we're on Thursday right now. We're on PowerPoint for Book Day, which is today. There you go. And then we have Cozy Chatting stream tomorrow, which I already have a lot of bullet point for, so there will be a lot of yapping. That one will probably be around 3 hours because I have to take a break and feed the cats before the collab. And then there will be a collab on Mina's channel where we'll be opening Digimon cards. Yeah. Did I book recommendations via Marshmallows? Right now, I'm reading... I have a reading backlog myself. But if you want to send me a rec, you can send me one. But I would rather you send me only one book rec and like write to me why you're recking that one book instead of sending a lot. And then we're going to be watching Magic the Gathering trailers and cinematics on Saturday. Which, by the way, when I made the thumbnail for that yesterday, Kamos, I finally looked at the thumbnails of some of the trailers. And I was like, what? This is the thumbnail for the stream. I was like, what is that gingerbread creature? Screaming lady on the right. I don't know what's going on there, but I can see that being Magic the Gathering. But what the caramel fudge is this gingerbread lady? I don't know, but we'll find out, I guess. But yeah, we'll watch Magic the Gathering cinematics. So I'm looking forward to that. How this gingerbread lady plays into Magic the Gathering, though, we'll find out. And then the members body cam stream on Saturday. And I guess I could say one of the things I did yesterday, we're not doing this for this member stream, but one of the things I did yesterday was I finally hooked up my walk pad and started using my walk pad. I actually took some pictures and I took a little, wait, I could show you here. I was planning on maybe posting it on Twitter, but... Finally hooked up my walk pad, so I can use that. But you know, I'll show you on stream tomorrow instead. Too much of a bother to bring up now. But I filmed. But yeah, I have my walk pad now, so I can use that while watching anime at my PC. Just walks. I walked for half an hour yesterday, and that means for the body cam streams, I could do like walking, walk pad, walk stream for it, which could be fun. But that would be for membies. For membies. But normal membi stream. It's like a treadmill. Yeah, it's like a small, like a flat treadmill. It doesn't go to the speeds that regular treadmills or the incline that regular treadmills go, but it's like a small treadmill. And better exercise than walking circles around your apartment, because you get tired of that really quickly. And then Lost and Found Co. on Sunday. Where hopefully I'll complete the game. If not, we'll get further. Walking speeds only. Yeah, you can speed walk, but no running. Okay, the next week's schedule. We have... Ba-bam! I'll be playing Moomin Winter's Warmth on Monday, which it releases on Monday. I just want to avoid meeting my neighbors. I also don't want to do that. Who would want to walk outside? No, outside. Ew. But I'm playing Moomin's Winter Warmth on Monday, and I have some good news for you, Kamos. I haven't made the thumbnail for this, but I'll make the thumbnail and put up the waiting room soon, hopefully. But this stream... Oh, wait, let's see what I got a thing here. There you go. This stream is going to be sponsored! Yeah! It's going to be sponsored by the devs. Who the game developers on this one are actually Norwegian coms. I'm really excited. It's actually a Norwegian developed game. There's so few Norwegian game developers because they're all in Sweden. And then also some in Denmark and some in Finland. But they're all in Sweden. Sweden has like the Nordic game game development monopoly almost, which is great. Like, I love all the Sweden-made games, but it's also really fun as a Norwegian to play a game of a Norwegian game developer from a franchise that I really like, because I really like Moomin. And also for this one, I'll be having a giveaway in chat where the game devs have also given 2 giveaway codes for the game, so there will be a raffle during that stream for that. Sweden simply has the best incentives for game devs. Yeah, they have a lot of game development incentives in Sweden, which it makes sense. Well, yes, I'm super happy with the sponsorship. Yeah. In the studio with 13 devs according to their Steam page. Yeah, it's a smaller game dev studio, so really happy for Moomin Winter's Warmth. And it's one of it's like in a similar type of setting to one of my favorite Moomin TV show episodes from back when I was a kid. So yeah, that's coming on Monday, and the game releases on Monday, which is why the handcam stream will be on Tuesday. So Tuesday will be the handcam stream, the weekly handcam. And I'll be showing off almost 400 Magic the Gathering singles that I have acquired. So I'm looking forward to that. Knitting, of course, as per usual, at the end, but Magic the Gathering singles first. And then I'll be doing the Patreon 3D ASMR, which will be air squishing and air cupping. You'll see more details when I put up the waiting rooms for that. But yeah. 400 cards? Yeah, 400 cards. I'm excited. And then Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. So there's 2 game releases next week. And I'm so super hyped. Tomorrow, Kamos, we'll watch the new trailer together, because they did a Temple faction reveal today. Today. Yes, Temple faction reveal. Monday is on 28th. No, don't worry about it. Tuesday stream will be handcam. And that's the 28th. Well, yeah, Heroes of Might and Magic on Thursday. Super hyped for it. And then Heroes of Might and Magic on Friday as well. Yes, you should have seen this coming. Heroes of Might and Magic on Friday, Pokemon Explores the Sky on Saturday, and then Heroes of Might and Magic on Sunday. And because you guys requested more ASMR and I felt bad that I know I've been doing less ASMR, I'll be trying to do a double stream on Sunday with soft sounds and positive affirmations and stuff. So yeah. And this is the schedule art that's tentatively on air. So this is next week's schedule, which you're getting in the middle of this week. I might be spoiling you too much, Kamos, but that's fine. That's fine. Let me max out the size of this because you... There we go. If you want a screenshot, here it is. Now it's gone. Now it's gone. I don't spoil you enough. You want to be spoiled more? Wow. Is it bad that you see 400 cards and you're like, oh, yeah, that's reasonable? To be fair, a lot of those cards cost like $0.03 or like $0.05 or like 0.1 or $0.2. So most of the cards are really cheap. The schedule art looks cute. Oh, thank you. You need all the spoiling? Wow. My little kamamos. Kamamo. I mean, 3 cents. I don't know how many cents there are to $1, Kamos. You can't ask me to do lower denomination currency and stuff than dollars. Dollars is as low as it goes. Quarters, cents. For me, they're just like little coins. They don't mean much, other than the fact that one of them is less than $1. 100 cents to $1, I will not remember. I might remember, but I don't think I will remember, Kamos. I already have to remember Norwegian kronas. I will remember Norwegian kronas, and then I will remember how it converts to dollars, kind of. So yeah. There's too many currencies, and I also kind of have to remember yen. And then there's euros, because it's used a lot in Europe, and then there's also pounds, which they use in UK. There's a lot of currencies, Camels. I can't fill my head with currency knowledge. It's going to become too full and then explode like the Lumas in Mario Galaxy. 100 cents is also one euro though, but I won't remember it for euros either. No, I remember like the lower like currency, and if you have to put like a point something after the currency to like talk about it, then I will forget. Yeah. Sure I can lose some card knowledge? No. I need all my card knowledge. If I use too much on currency knowledge, I won't have enough for books or games. Yeah, exactly. Books and games are more important. Yeah. But, Kamos, I should round off. I feel my voice, definitely. I love these streams, but when I do this type of stream, they will be a little bit shorter. Just so I don't, like, overdo it with my voice. Since it's non-stop talking. Yeah. And I also talked with my older sister earlier today on the phone, so I've already talked for, like, 40-50 minutes today. Full on chatting the whole way? Yeah. And vocal stamina is important to, like, be careful to not overdo it. You missed the presentation, you can go back and watch it. Don't worry, it's always there. But I will be back tomorrow. So tomorrow will probably be like another 3-hour chatting stream, but it will be another probably 2 hours on Limina's channel. So you'll get like a full 5 hours of Kanna tomorrow. And finally, we'll have Digimon card opening with like proper Digimon knowledge, because Limina knows so much more about Digimon than me. Let me find out who to raid though. Come on, give me a second. ちょっと待ってください。ダンダンダンダンダンダン。Oh, since we got raided by Laffy, let's raid Ayla. Ayla. I don't think Ayla streams on Twitch, so... I wanted to find someone separate to raid on Twitch. And since we've got a Twitch raid, I should raid onwards. Usually I only like raiding one person at a time because there's so many chats, but...
You gonna stay up there?
Oh my god, the Twitch front page people! This is why I hate going on Twitch, because things just start autoplay. What was that? Fortnite! Of course it's Fortnite on the Twitch front page. Why wouldn't it be Fortnite? Oh, is Stim streaming? Oh, Stim is streaming. She's streaming Baldur's Gate 3. Let's read Stim. There we go. Oy. Of course it's Fortnite, yeah. I hate that it's stuff autoplays. There we go. Okay, so Stim raid on Twitch, and then Ayla raid on YouTube. And I will be seeing you tomorrow. Did anyone I watched play Fortnite recently? No, I don't watch anyone play Fortnite. Fortnite is, even if like it's like my best VTuber friends, I wouldn't watch them play Fortnite. It's just not for me. But yeah, I will see you Kamos tomorrow. I hope you don't judge me for my books picks too harshly, but if you do, I don't care because I love them. I love you, Kamos. Otsukanana. And see you tomorrow. Yeah. And literally, I don't care, Kamos. When it comes to books, I know which books I like. I don't care if you judge me for my book picks. They're good, and I like them. And they're good. Yeah. And that's everything I care about. That is everything that I care about. Judging a bit? No. No judging. No judging. No judging. Yee! Bye bye, camels! Camels! Don't worry about the music, it doesn't mean anything. I certainly will not come back in the future. Yeah! Yeah, and you never heard it again. A stream ended, and yeah.